How's it going, folks? Got another new player. How's it going, folks? Oh, got another new player. How's it going, folks? Oh, got another new player. Hold on, let me get this stuff. Alright, there we go. I have my Twitch tab open. Anyways, how's it going, guys? My name is Dreaded Saurian. I'm here to cast the. How's it going, guys? My name is Dreaded Saurian. I'm here to cast. I had my YouTube tab open as well. Anyways, I'm here to cast today's new player Conquest. It's such a mouthful to say it. New player Swiss SFT Conquest tournament, or just new player tournament. Should leave it like that. But it's SFT. Basically, it means that players pick one faction and they play that single faction throughout the rest of the tournament. And it's a Swiss tournament, so that means that no matter if you lose your first match or not, you still have 2 other matches to play. Typically it's 4, but JP does just 3 rounds because it's faster and it's just faster, and some people end up dropping in the late rounds for some reason. So, you know, there's a reason why 3 rounds is done by JP. But yeah, so you typically have more chance in this than as opposed to like a single elimination. So don't feel discouraged if you play in these games and these tournaments and lose the first match. You can continue on and probably take the tournament if you win the next 2, depending on who your opponents are. You have a little bit more of a chance when it comes to like 4-round tournaments, obviously, because there's 3 extra rounds to go up against 3 other opponents. But in this one, there's still a chance. And it's fun either way to be able to play more than just 1 match, you know. Yes, my name is Dreaded Saurian. I'm casting today's games, and I cast them pretty much every Saturday, generally, if I have the time. Luckily, I'm home today, so I'm not starting the stream late. Unfortunately, I'm home today because I'm sick once again. It's aggravating. This is more times that I've been sick this year than I have been in the past, I don't know, year or 2, aside from the one time I got COVID. So yeah, it's very aggravating, but the pro at least is that I'm here and I can stream it from the start live. I like casting games live. But we do have Nardu up against Pride. Nardu rockin' Nurgle. Nardu asked me what faction to play this time, and I told them it's time to bring back the Grandfather Nurgle, because they've been on a tirade playing greenskins and all other different factions, which don't resonate with the Nardu that I know, who plays Nurgle and Slaanesh. I told them to go back to their basics. Time to bring back the Grandfather and you know, spread some plagues a bit. If they lose, they can spread their plagues everywhere and eventually win later down the line. But Pride as well, rocking the Wood Elves. I'm not sure who I favor in this matchup, specifically because of the players playing. But normally, let's say probably Nurgle, because of the amount of heavy cav you can bring. And Wood Elves struggle with heavy cav even with their buffs to their cav. They may have what are they called again? They might have the Wild Hunter's Garnish, which is their anti-large cav, but it's only one of them. They can't stop multiple units of heavy cav. And fight one off, but just the one. If they get support, they can eventually, and healing, they can fight off another one, but not at the same time. It has to be one at a time. and they can't take the charge. If they take the charge, they're gonna take a ton of damage because they're very lightly armored, and Chaos Knights hit like a truck, especially the Lance variant, which I think is what Nardu brought, because the lances do brutal work to the lightly armored infantry and cav of the Wood Elves. But this is also a Conquest tournament, so Nurgle tends to be a little better, and also as well in Conquest because they have healing, they have a lot of healing, and they can grind out. They're really good at grinding out fights with other factions, especially if they can just sit on a point. Obviously, Nardu isn't that type of player, or maybe not obvious to some people, but if you see Nardu play before, they're not really that type of player. They go for the point eventually, but they don't go mainly for the point and just sit on it because that's not how you win. It's also not that fun, but again, it's just not how you win. The ticket rate is very slow, and it just gives your opponent time to just shoot at you while you're sitting on the point. But yes, I am sick again. I have to bring that up just to make sure you know that if I mute for a second, it's because I'm coughing, which I just did. It's not that bad as before. An occasional cough, and my nose is clogged. But other than that, I'm relatively fine. Yesterday. I was very fatigued, and I don't want to do anything. And now it's a little things are a little better. But all right, Chaos Warriors for the front line of Nurgle. We also have a Chaos Lord of Nurgle on his Rot Beast. Actually, no, it's just on a horse, isn't it? Yeah. Didn't go with the double Rot Beast build like you see a lot nowadays. Rot or Die, giving that melee damage reflection and leadership. I like that. It also spreads to friendly units. So I think it's really nice. Only 18 seconds, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's useful. Icon of Eternal Virulence, which if you're having these longer games like in Conquest, this adds up, and yeah, because it takes 30 seconds each time, as opposed to just a regular land battle match. I don't think it's as good, but if it's in Conquest, I think it's a lot better. The range is only 35 meters, right? Yes, so you have to be within a that little range near the Lord, but otherwise, it's pretty good. Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption will be the spells for the caster, who's also on a horse. We also have 3 Chaos Knights with lances, which you can see that charge bonus plus those melee stats. 80 charge bonus and 120 armor. If Nardu plays with them, uses them well, they will do incredible work against the Wood Elves. But for the Wood Elves, we have Durthu, who's just like a staple against demonic factions nowadays. He has Flock of Doom and his Sword of Death. And does he have anything else? I don't think he does. No. For the rest of the army, a whole bunch of Dryads and Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards because they have those magic missiles. And our solid skirmishing units. We also have triple Wild Riders. They also have a nice charge bonus, but they have not like pitiful AP. It's pretty decent at 14, but they're not gonna win out against heavily armored cav. But they're still good fighters. 44-31 with that frenzy. As you can see with that 40 armor and 31 melee defense, they will take a whooping from a heavy lance variant cav. We also have a Forest Dragon, which is pretty cool. This is the second time I've seen a Forest Dragon in the new player tournaments. I love to see it. Forest Dragon is probably my favorite dragon out of all of them, just because how aesthetically wise, it just looks really cool. Aside from the Black Dragon, maybe I like it a lot, but it's very expensive for what it is. Earthblood and Lifebloom will be it for the caster. We also have some Warhounds and Furies in the back line for Nurgle. the music down real quick. I turned it up a little bit, but it's too loud now. Okay. Alright. Chaos Fury is coming in here, already taking a bit of damage from the Swift Shiver Shards, and maybe being sent in a little too early there by Nardu. I understand them wanting to try to mitigate any damage that they take, but any damage that they take from the Swift Shiver Shards, it's just going to go into shields. So I definitely think it's worth holding on to your Chaos Furies until a really opportune choice for your Chaos Knights to get in. I understand trying to mitigate any damage that your Chaos Knights take. But as you can see, that's a nice charge there from the Chaos Knights. Do some pretty solid work down the Wild Riders. But they get hit by the Forest Dragon, so they're going to start pulling out. I think it would have been better to stay in that fight and just try to support it with a Lord. But I understand the Lord is a little bit far, so maybe pulling out the Knights and taking that engagement again later on would be a better idea. But yeah, you see these Wild Riders took a 2-on-1 engagement with the Chaos Knights, and they are absolutely being brutalized. I guess it's actually 2v2. Some of the models are just stuck over here for some reason. But yeah, it's going a lot better for the Nurgle side, and as you can imagine, it's going to be looking really bad for the Wood Elves, as they have nothing left to protect their backline on their right-hand flank. But the Chaos Knights will eventually beat Dryads, of course, or the Chaos Warriors. That's exactly what you want to bring against Dryads, is they do wonderful work against them. Oof! Nasty, nasty volley into the Chaos Sorcerer. It needs to be pulled out there because, my god, that was dirty. And he could get sniped out here if the Nurgle player, Nardu, is not careful. You have a that Rot or Die popped. I don't know why this happens with the Pestigore spread ability as well. Like the name of it just leaves. But yeah, the Dryads are losing and will eventually falter here soon. Chaos Knights take that engagement once again with the Wild Riders. I'm presuming that they got like a rear charge on the Chaos Knights because it's a lot more even than it should be. But I think it's because of the Forest Dragon. Forest Dragon, speaking of, is going to go chase down one of these Chaos Knights. And this is exactly kind of what they want to be doing, because the heavily armored Chaos Knights will not do a whole lot into the Forest Dragon, as they don't have they're not great at this. They're just not great at finding large targets. They do take a Wild Rider charge. That's pretty good engagement there for the Wood Elves, as they might be able to shut down those Chaos Knights, especially with the help of Durthu. But they are pretty tanky, as you can see. Even through all that, they have 40 models left and a little less than half HP. These Chaos Knights take a nasty Sword of Death, also hitting these Chaos Warriors as they move past. It's quite unfortunate for them. But Breath Attack coming in on the Chaos Warriors would have been better to wait for them to like line up so you can get a side breath. But it's fine. It did okay damage. These Wild Riders do get finished off, and these Chaos Knights should be coming over soon, along with the Chaos Warhounds. And these Dryads take a rear charge from those Chaos Knights, presumably, and are being shut down. Infantry looking to be pretty much dead in the water for the Wood Elves, as we do have one more unit coming back. But that's pretty much it in terms of infantry. Seems like we have a little bit more on the field for the Nurgle side. If we get some healing going on one of these Chaos Knights, that could be pretty beautiful. These Chaos Knights get a really limp charge in there. I don't know what the hell that was about, but they get a limp charge in there on the Dryads. But the other one does join in, and yeah, their Dryads should be leaving soon. The Chaos Warrior, the Chaos Lord, excuse me, is making on top of the Forest Dragon, and he could do some solid work. He is not a bad fighter. 60-69 with 490 weapon strength and 170 with being AP. Forest Dragon doesn't have that much armor in the first place. That's 60, so not a bad fighter. Obviously, if they were like just alone, I think the Forest Dragon would win, possibly. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell with the icon of Eternal Virulence reducing their stats as well, plus poison. Hard to say, but I'm not sure. It completely depends. But Deepwood Scouts take a nice stream of corruption there, and I think it's probably going to be going to the Nurgle side. Obviously, we just have to do with Durthu, but all the Deepwood Scouts are now gone. Some Dryads, at best, very, very damaged. And we're going to come back, but then you have 900 HP, and army losses should probably start kicking in here soon. I don't know. I say that, but Durthu, he is like a part of the entire He's like his entire balance of power there, and rightfully so, because he is an absolute raid boss. I've seen him win games just by himself. Like, it's impossible to take him down. You have very little armor piercing units, and that's exactly what Nardu doesn't have, is a bunch of armor piercing. That Stream of Corruption might even do more damage to themselves than than it would to Durthu. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I definitely wouldn't keep all of these here, because you're just taking a bunch of damage here from the Sword of Death. You're just giving them free damage. You definitely don't want to be blobbing up against a single entity like this. This is really bad. Thanks for the link, Michael. Yeah, more are coming over. And also, the bad thing about as well as surrounding is that your units are exhausted and they're not getting time to just like refresh their vigor. I also think it would be best to capture the point at this point if you're up against Durthu, because Durthu won't be able to outcap any of your units, and that's what the Conquest is for. It's for that for that point right there. You can just, I like that the Chaos Warhounds are chasing off the Force Dragon. That's very nice. The Force Dragon should be finished off. Yeah, I think this is a big mistake here. I think Durthu could win the game out if Nardu isn't careful, because they're going to get another Flock of Doom hitting all of these units. Nardu is just constantly blobbing. This is really bad on Nardu. Valspar could start slipping back into the Wood Elf's favor if Nardu isn't careful. Big old swipes there with those lashy fingers. Yeah, one would think that my lord can't kill all of these units, can they? Well, with Flocks of Dooms, and do they have another Sword of Death, or is that the last one that they used? Okay, they used all of them, but I'm sure they have plenty more lore to constantly spamming out Winds of Magic, excuse me, to be casting out Flocks of Dooms. And if Nardu's just going to continue blobbing like this, I'm not sure about this. I mean, Durthu is being slowly grinded down. He's down to 5,800 now, 5,500. And Army Loss is starting to kick in. There we go. Okay. Yeah, once Durthu took enough damage, Army Loss was able to kick in. But that was kind of scary there. I think one of the biggest keys there was losing that Forest Dragon to the Chaos Warhounds. If that Forest Dragon was able to come back, because I think they still had at least 2 more breath attacks. I only saw 1. If they were to still use those breath attacks on those Chaos Warriors, things could have turned around real quickly. And Durthu would have been able to charge out and let the Forest Dragon fight. Yeah, let's look at the values. 3470. As I said, Durthu is an absolute raid boss. He is insane. He is the Wood Elves version of Archaon and freaking Golek, honestly. He's just really good right now. 144 Dryads obviously got crumped by the Chaos Warriors. Everything else, 970, 670, 776. 1537 on the Chaos Lord. Nice work. Chaos Warriors were a great pick there into the Wood Elves. Just a nice counter pick there from Nardu, the undroppable, with those Chaos Knights with lances. Yeah, as you can see, the Chaos Knights with lances just do beautiful work against the Wood Elves. But well played to both players. Alright, let's see. Just talking with Nardu a little bit. All right. Check the total tavern page real quick. All right, we just got a few matches going. We got Navigator versus Ash, Anarian versus Chavio, Jamie, and B6A6S still playing at the moment. There's a lot of streams going on right now. Like, well, turns ended about like maybe 40 minutes ago, an hour ago. But we had Turn streaming earlier. Then we have Tactical Lich streaming an ODM tournament. Then we have Tequila Sunset. The Advanced Player tournament. And then we also have Human Boy also streaming a new player tournament. Lots going on right now. I'm over here fighting for my life. Nardu asks, what are the odds I go against the Chaos Dwarves again? Let me see. Let's see, what do we have in today's new player tournament? We have Norska, Zinch, more Zinch, Nurgle, Chaos Dwarves, Bretonia, what else? Skaven, Chaos Dwarves. So there's 2 Chaos Dwarves, Kislev, there's 2 Dwarves. Oh, Kislev, Joy Boy, you try hard. You sweaty try hard. Anarian also playing freaking Empire. Yikes. Hey Dreaded, thanks for casting the game. Looking forward to see the VOD later. Shame Dirtzy broke at the end. Could have won if he had held out a bit more. Yeah, I'm really disappointed in Dirthu there, Pride. I was so surprised that he would route already. I mean, he still had like half HP. And I would, expect maybe like... I'm surprised the balance power gave him such little value, because if you were able to constantly just get out Flocks of Doom, I really think Dirthu could have just grinded it out. I'm dreading today's tournament, my lord. If I get Kislev and Empire back to back, I'm gonna cry. Kislev, bad. People play Kislev in the new player tournament, bad. Joy Boy, I'm calling you out. You sweat lord. And then 2 dwarves. Like, what's go? Hello. These better be fun dwarf builds, which some may say don't exist, but yeah, this is looking like a pretty dreaded lineup of factions to be going up against in this new player tournament. I'm glad I'm not in it. I'm glad I'm not in any of your positions, rather. Greetings, Wally. Does the Nurgle hero cost fear? Good question. But isn't Dirthu immune to psychology, considering he has fear? Let me see. Skirmish. Or terror, excuse me. Does he not cause terror? Yeah, he does. He's immune to he's ITP. He's not technically ITB, but he is immune unless his terror gets taken away. Are any dwarf builds fun? Good question. Good question. I think there's some fun dwarf builds. But if you bring Thoric in it, it automatically takes away any fun you have in the build. If you bring any Dwarf Lord aside from Thoric, then there's a 50% chance it's a fun build. Or, excuse me, either Thoric or a Demon Slayer. Demon Slayers are way too common nowadays. No Demon Slayer, no Thoric, fun build. Maybe. I wasn't paying attention to the balance of power. Did it go down noticeably once the dragon left? Because if so, that could be it. Because again, Thurthu had plenty of HP left. I was surprised he routed so early on. I was expecting at least like a couple more Flocks of Doom. No, Nardu. There's no 1-2 today. You're going on a clean 3-0 streak with Nurgle because Nurgle is them. Nurgle is in a really good place right now. Well, arguably. But in your hands, you should be up. You should go 3-0 with them. I bet my life on it. Nardi, when you started surrounding Thurthu, I was like internally panicking. I was like, why is Nardu giving them free damage with Flocks of Doom and Sword of Dates? Why are you doing this, Thurthu? Nardu, are you trying to throw for Papa Nurgle? What's going on? Obviously, past Thoric. And smash Carl Franz. That's the answer. Oh, you had 2 heals lined up. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could have overcasted it, yeah, and then I don't know. My issue was with that, like, if Dirthu either like wasn't exhausted or the Force Dragon was able to come back, I really think in RD you could have lost that. But you played it really well chasing off that dragon with the hounds. And Pride wasn't like having Dirthu trying to attack the Lord. If that was happening, I think with a few lucky hits, Dirthu could have swapped the balance of power a little bit by beating down on the hero. But obviously, like you said, you had heals, so I think your heals would have counteracted a lot of the damage that Dirthu would have done. I didn't know you had any heals in your back pocket. I knew you were biased. I'm definitely biased. Have you seen... I'm going to say it again. The Emperor of Mankind? Carl Franz? With that butt chin of his? I was asking, rather I was trying to think, did the Force Dragon get more than one breath off? Because I only saw the one. Someone mute this man. You hate me because I'm right. I speak the truth. I speak straight fire. Carl Franz is the hottest character in all of the Warhammer universe. Meow Ying in second. Impartial. I'm no judge. If you were playing, it matters not. If you were playing against somebody on the Lizardman side, I would root for the Lizardman. It matters not what faction you're playing. If you're maybe playing Chaos Dwarf, then I'd say, you know, maybe I'm indecisive on who I want to win. But if you're up against Lizardman, I'm going to root for them. If you're up against Carl Franz, I'm going to root for Carl Franz. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I am no way an impartial judge. I got all 3 off, hit his heavy cap twice when they were... okay. Honestly, obviously this is hindsight, but I probably would have preferred to keep those breath attacks for the infantry, because I do like breath attacks on Cav, but majority of the time they don't. It doesn't hit as hard as it does on infantry. You get a... 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. Interrupted. All right. Yeah, I probably would have saved those breath attacks for the infantry specifically because the Cav is an issue, but I find breath attacks to be much better against infantry majority of the time, simply because of the way it hits models. Breath attacks typically don't, I guess, pierce through Cav models that well because of how much mass they have and how big they are. As much as I would love to put my mom on speaker, I don't think that's the greatest idea. Ooh, we have some replays. Cool. We have some from Anarian, Buffo versus B6A6S, and a Korean player. I'm not going to try to pronounce... I'm not going to try to... I think I translated their name. It was like Porky or something. I don't know. Dollar wrong. Valkyrie. Honestly, I'd put Valkyrie out there too. I mean, the Conehead kind of puts her down for me. That's why. Like, if you look at other pieces of her, the Conehead kind of like ruins her a bit. But I'm definitely a Valkyria enjoyer for sure. I'd put Valkyria maybe in like top 10. Ugath is... You're not even right about that. Like, I understand you're trying to meme Nardu, but you're not even right about that. Come on. Like, I don't get how you're so wrong about it. Have you seen Epidemius? The way that man does taxes is so incredibly sexy. We love a smart man. A smart, calculated man. It's me. I'm calling him to tell me why he's wrong about friends. I have no breath attacks. I'm sponsored by Listerine. So what you're saying is that everything on Nurgle's faction, every unit on Nurgle's faction just should have breath attacks because their breath is so foul. I like it. That works. I'm still waiting, CA, for the... I can't believe you guys didn't give freaking Bile Trolls breath attacks. Or, you know, Bile Spews, like, an ability. Like, why? You just made them into boring, regular trolls, but with stinky clouds around them. That should honestly be a thing, though. Like, if you're a freaking Empire soldier, just a regular state trooper, and you're up against, like, even just a generic Nurgling or a Plague Bearer. Imagine having to smell how foul they are. And not only that, being like, it's like having like, just being around them and you having to fight them. I just, no. Best faction for beginners in this game? Good question. Now, some would say corn, simply because you can just focus on the nitty gritty, your infantry fights, your cav fights, and keeping your lord alive. That's it. It's a very simple mechanic to corn. They are very one-dimensional. You grind, you send your infantry to kill the other opponent's infantry, and that's it. You send your cav to fight other cav. Very one-dimensional. I would even argue that's a good idea. I think that's a good recommendation, because you will have no magic to worry about. You have no range attacks to worry about. You do have 2 range units. You have Marauder Horsemen of Corn with throwing axes. You also have skull cannons. But compared to every other faction, very, very limited in terms of range. Marauder Horsemen of Corn are very good and are very useful against factions that have a lot of monstrous infantry and big monsters like Lizardmen. These guys can do a lot of damage very quickly, but they're by no means necessary in every matchup. So you don't have to worry too much about it. But in cases of those, when you're up against factions like that, you definitely want to bring them. But it's not a whole lot to have to like worry about. You'll have that one range unit as opposed to the rest of your other units, which don't need a whole lot of micro aside from your cav. Gold cannons, I love gold cannons. I think they're one of the most underrated units on the Corn roster. And just in general, I like them a lot. But if you're a new player, you could just skip out on it for now. You could try those out another time. But yeah, Corn I think is a good, solid recommendation. I think... If you have Tomb Kings, I think Tomb Kings aren't too bad of a new player recommendation. Simply because... a lot of your infantry you don't have to worry about. It's just cheap chaff that will just die eventually to everything else. What you're going to be worrying about is mostly just your constructs. Yeah, because it's debatable for me. I can't say for certain if Tomb Kings is one of the best new player factions, because a lot of the play requires you to micromanage your Ushopti. So, but if you're up against other newer players, I think it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine. You're not against like Sipa and all these other Pigman, etc. players who will constantly push your back line. If you're up against newer players, I think Tomb Kings is fine for a new player faction as well, if you have the DLC. Otherwise, Corn, I think Nurgle's a good one too. Other than that, probably maybe... maybe Kislev, but Kislev, you don't want to rely on them too much because they're very, very strong right now. What kind of cheese? Good question. Some would say yes. So let me hop into a second round before it gets too late. Also, music is way too... it's the music I have in my tab. Okay. Anybody want a specs into hop into their game? Otherwise, I'll just hop into... oh, here we go. Melon join. Good enough for me. I see my name. That's me. Nope. That wasn't the right answer. That wasn't the right password. Let me see what the actual password is. Melon join, but that's not 123 password. I hate to say it, but looks like it's not happening. It's like we're watching Nardu again. Good luck, guys. I don't know if how many of you are actually playing, but good luck in your matches. But yeah, some factions just require a lot more micromanaging than others. If your micro is not that great, obviously as a newer player, you may be coming from other games where you have a lot of micro, like StarCraft and other games like that, like for other 4x games or RTS games, excuse me. But otherwise, if you're unlike any of those players, typically you just want to go with a less micro heavy faction. Yeah, we got an Nurgle against Chaos Dwarves. Now, you know how I just talked about like bias and stuff right there, right? Well, here's the thing. I like Nardu. I like their build because specifically because I told them to bring this one unit, Uncle for Uncle. But I also like Chaos Dwarves. And depending on the Chaos Dwarf build, I would definitely root for them, despite me asking Nardu to bring Uncle for Uncle. Just that's simply because I like Chaos Dwarves that much. I think Chaos Dwarves are awesome. I like them in tabletop. I like them in the game. Actually, I like them more in the tabletop, but I still like them in game. Just not, they're not my favorite faction to play in game. I just think aesthetically and thematically they're awesome. Much cooler than normal dwarves. Hate to say it, dwarf mains out there, but it's just the truth. But yeah, so that's where the bias is gone. I'm an unbiased. I'm a very, very biased caster here. For the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nardu, we do have the Filth Mace with Stream of Corruption, Fleshy Abundance for the healing, and he is on horseback. We also have Uncle for Uncle himself, a requested choice of mine, though Nardu is risking it all by bringing them against Chaos Dwarves because Chaos Dwarves have Fire Glaives, Blunderbusses, and yeah, that's very dangerous for Uncle, who doesn't have any missile resistance at all. He has some physical resistance, but if they're up against Fire Glaives, I think Fire Glaives have... No, okay, Fire Glaives do not have magical attacks. Good. Okay, so they'll mitigate some of the damage at least. But Uncle Franco does have Defiling Deluge, which gives them some heal and like a damage over time on enemies. Spirit Leech and Stream of Corruption. I wish Deluge had like 3 uses, because it's not that great anyways. And I think it'd be better to have 3 than to buff the damage. But otherwise, Chaos Warriors. I also think it has a low healing, like not low healing, but slow. It's not doesn't sound. Yeah, 6 seconds. I think they need to up that to like 10 seconds rather than give it 3 uses. Just keep it at 2 uses and give it like 10 seconds or 12. Because 6 is way too low. Yeah, Chaos Warriors, and Demon Spew, Forsaken ROR. They have poison attacks and just better stats than the regular Forsaken. We also have Chosen Nurgle Great Weapons. Nardu is really risking it all here, bringing both units that I asked for against these guys. Actually, it's 2 Chosen. Nardu, the freaking undroppable, the afflicted. Their titles will reign on for many years. For the Chaos Dwarves, we have a Sorcerer Prophet on foot with Hellhammer, which is going to be perfect against the Chosen if they can get it off on them. Blazing Beards of Berserk. Some more Chaos Dwarf Warriors, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, some Goblin Laborers, etc. Just a whole bunch of that. Some double Fire Glaives, and that is it. Also the Granite Guard, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss ROR, which if they turn around, could get some nice volleys there on the Chaos Furies. But Fire Glaives are shooting in. They're shooting out at the Furies and doing some solid work there. These Blunderbusses are shooting into the Chaos Warriors, which they're doing good damage. But the thing with the Blunderbusses is that they're like knocking them over. So they're not doing as much damage as they could because they're knocking over the models instead of actually doing damage to them. If that makes sense. But Uncle Franco's coming in there, and yeah, what a surprise there. He's taking a tremendous amount of damage from the Blunderbusses, but Chaos Warriors are getting on top of those those blunderbusses and stopping them from shooting. Chosen do get in there, and they're fighting goblin laborers. Talk about wasted. Talk about wasted potential there. And I missed the Hellhammer there. Hellhammer went down, and the Chaos Warriors. It did some solid work there. I don't know if it hit these Chaos Warriors too, but nonetheless, it did some decent work. Uncle Frankel taking some shots there from the Granite Guard. Definitely need to get away from there, as he's going to take a tremendous amount of damage. But they're actually switching over to... So the Fire Glaives. These Fire Glaives right now are shooting at Uncle Frankel, and the Granite Guard to get some nice side shots into the Chaos Warriors. Those Chaos Warriors are having a terrible time. Definitely don't think I'd bring Chaos Warriors ever against Chaos Warriors, but I can see the reason for it with their silver shields. Yeah, Uncle Frankel needs to stay out of this line of sight. He's taking so much damage. Please, Uncle Frankel, no! Get him out of there, Nardu. Chosen are getting on top of the Inferno Guard, and Chosen definitely want to be fighting Inferno Guard. You should take these Chaos Warriors out, send them around, because they need to get on top of these Fire Glaives and shut those guys down. Also send your Lord into them as well. Actually, no, send your Lord away, because he's taking fire now. So send the Chaos Warriors away into that to stop those Fire Glaives from shooting. These Fire Glaives also need to be shut down as well. But yeah, Uncle Frankel got 374 value. So unfortunate. Uncle Frankel falls, sent back to the warp. But here comes some Lurglings to feast on the Chaos Dwarf's corpses. Demon Spew trying to chase down the Granite Guard. But I'm not sure about the Demon Spew either. The Demon Spew are absolutely getting butchered there. I mean, they don't even have great AP either. But yeah, just a massive amount of gunfire. Oh my god, those poor Chosen. That is horrendous. They are getting absolutely brutalized by those blunderbusses. That is so sad to see. Those elite Nurgle warriors just getting brutalized. Oh my god, that's dirty, that's nasty, that's filthy. Nardu, that was a brave build, but definitely the wrong faction to bring it against. Listen, regular dwarves, maybe cheese. Chaos dwarves, don't pin them together. Do not pin them together. Can't do that. Don't do that to my Chaos Dowie. Oh, that was so painful in R, dude. That was so painful. 795 for the Sorcerer Prophet. 699 here. Infernal Guard. Let's see, nothing too spectacular there. 1868 on these blunderbusses. 685, 1001, 1567, and 1611. We were just talking about counters in the previous match. This is a counter to everything that Nardu brought. The massive amount of gun line. Yeah, that kind of that went exactly how I expected it to go. The Sorcerer Lord, not much value there. Chaos Warriors, same as well. 325. The Chosen, oh, that hurts. 389 and actually 369 and 184. Oh, that pains me. Oh, I feel that aching in my bones. Papa Nurgle's not happy. 188, 297, and Uncle Frankel 374. Oh, dreaded. Oh, hurts. This hurts me from within. Papa Nurgle, forgive Nardu. I feel for you, Nardu. I feel for you. I can't believe you brought that against Chaos Dwarves. You goofball. You didn't have to do my request back to back. You could have waited. Okay, but you're gonna have to bring Uncle Frankel again. You know that, right? Not in the next round, but again in the future, because he didn't get a good showing at all. He was absolutely humiliated, Uncle Frankel. You are the people's champion. I will give you that. I've given you that many times before because that is your title. You are the people's champion. But you need to pick and choose your matches, Nardu. Pick and choose them. But to be fair, if it wasn't the Chaos Dwarves, you could have gone against the Empire or whoever, like the regular dwarves in your next match. So, you know. Pick and choose your battles. Your chosen did live, but it, can you imagine being that chosen, one of those chosen, and going back to the Chaos Waste and telling that everybody about what happened? You can't even like bring yourself to say what happened because it was so embarrassing as a chosen unit. You're this elite, heavy axe wielding, blessed by Nurgle warriors, the elite of the elite, crop, cream of the crop, and your entire regiment just gets absolutely obliterated by some chaos blessed, chaos afflicted dwarves with some little shotguns. Just some little shotguns. Like some, not even like future shotguns, not even like modern shotguns. It's a blunderbuss. They put some gunpowder in there. And some like I think it's like I think it's literally just gunpowder and like some like some like little lead pieces, and they just blew your entire regiment away. Imagine being part of that chosen regiment and having to go back in humiliation to that. I wouldn't want to be. I would want my fact. I would want to just state that my entire regiment died and you were the only one standing, because at that point, you don't want to admit that. You don't want to admit that your entire regiment just got deleted like that. I think you need to have a talk with Grandpapa Nurgle because chosen, they need help. They need help right there. Come on. Give him some miss resistance. Give him some more HP. Something. Hey, you didn't have to do both. I didn't see you had to do both one match. That was your choice, Nardu. That was your choice. A bad choice. To bring all the chosen and Franco in one match. You could have brought Franco in a different match and the chosen in one match. I also said to bring as many as you wanted. You could have just brought one chosen as a backup piece. Get them in the forest or something for the late game. The thing is, the Shielded Chosen, I don't think really would have been. I mean, they may have been able to survive a first volley, sure, but once they got into infantry engagements, it would have taken them a long time to really beat anything, to beat Chaos Dwarves. Because if one of your chosen end up having to go against Infernal Guard, if they're up against Infernal Guard and they only have shields, you know, that's going to take them quite a bit. Of a grinding unit. Close to the Great Axe Ring. One chosen, do you know who I am? Nurgle's favorite. Apparently not, because Nurgle abandoned you there. Nurgle abandoned you and left you to your vices. Nurgle said, the hubris of my son will get him killed, but that's fine, because sacrifices must be made. That's what Nurgle said, essentially. I have an idea depending on which faction you get. Oh yeah, and what's your idea if you go up against dwarves or Empire? What's gonna be your big idea there? To be fair, against dwarves, I think they have a better chance. Against Empire, less so. Rot flies. do Raffles, are they like an actual meta choice, or like are they an actual option against Dwarves or Empire? I don't think I've ever seen Raffles used in those occasions. Got some more replays going. Sweet. If I get Empire, I'm probably just gonna get melted, so I'll probably make a fun build and enjoy myself. Your Wood Elves. So, yeah, that sounds about right. That does really sound about right. I mean, what can you bring against as the Wood Elves against Empire? That's asking for a beating, so you might as well just play what's fun. Because if you asked like a really good Wood Elf player what they'd bring against Empire, majority of the time they'll say just don't take that matchup. Yeah, exactly what Wells said. That's what matters. If you're watching this stream, if you're playing in this tournament, I want you to listen to me when I say the number one rule is that you have fun. It doesn't matter if you win or not. I understand some winning is fun for people. I like to win, but I also like to have fun matches. Even if I lose, I want to have a fun match. If I get totally stopped, I want to at least have fun. Sweaty, cheesy, boring snooze fest builds. Now that is one, not fun to cast, and two, not fun to play as. Especially not for me. That's yawn mode. I like hanging out with the new players. I like hanging out with the people who play for fun. That's what matters. Forest Dragons, let's go. Or double treeman, double ancient treeman. You can also do double Forest Dragon, one being the sisters and one being a regular dragon. %, win rate in these tournaments. I started doing that, having fun with the Wood Elves. That's what matters. I think I have like, if you look at my total tavern page, I mean, obviously I haven't played in a while, but a majority of my matches are losses. Because I just can't take a lot of these games too seriously. It's just not fun if I take it seriously. First of all, my risk wouldn't be able to hand it because they die after playing for like more than a match or two. But second of all, it's just more fun. Yeah, look at my. Look at that. Again, these are obviously like older, but still lost. Obviously, some of these are against good players like Flying Taco, Blood Penguin, F Pod, Umais, but it matters not. Forgot to mute for that cough. Oops, my bad. Sorry. I've never won a single tournament. Go to show. That should tell you. Let people experiment. Have fun doing so. Exactly. How are you going to learn how to play this game if you don't experiment? How are you going to have fun playing this game if you don't just let go and, you know, just play to see if you have fun? If you win, awesome. If not, big deal. Now, obviously, what your opponent plays also dictates what kind of fun you have. But you can't always control that, obviously, right? So, or rather, you can't control that in general, right? So, Naruto, you're the only one kind enough to constantly give me invites. So we're just gonna be casting your games, and I'll cast the replays after. Nobody thinks of the streamer, the poor, poor streamer. His feelings are hurt. No, I'm kidding. Good luck in everybody's matches. I look forward to casting your games. You got Empire. Oh no. No, we jinxed it. I personally recommend you going double Ancient Tree Man, but you know, up to you. Maybe you can think of something else more fun. Good luck, Pride. That's some bad luck. That's some horrible luck. Pride, I would not be doing any gambling anytime soon. You're a gambler because your luck is looking to be going down the drain. As for Skaven against Nurgle, it's not exactly a pretty fight for Nurgle either. They won't have a great time here, depending on the Skaven build. But Nardu the Afflicted, maybe they can bring something down here. Maybe they can. Maybe they got something up their sleeve. I also think Waystalkers are pretty solid against the Empire as well, by the way. Unfortunately, double Waystalker with Arrows of Kurnus is banned, but one, even just one is fine. It's good with the Arrows of Kurnus. If you want a more serious, like, recommendation, I suppose. Longest game, good question. You know, the longest match I've probably been in is like still less than 30 minutes, probably like 25. Dom matches can be pretty long. Conquest and land battle, not so much. I think land battles typically end within like less than 10 minutes or less, while Conquest can last a little longer, up to 12, 15 minutes. Yeah, there's been times where Dom matches last up to like 20, 25 minutes. And that's like if it's a real nail biter. Like if he keeps going back and forth between ticket pools, like if somebody's up to 1400. Are we supposed to be on the same map, by the way? Is this like an accident by them, or let me see. Yeah, this is supposed to be a different map. This is supposed to be Peasant's Pasture, not Flats of Kislev. Oh, blogger. Right, my bad. Yeah, no, you got me. Thank you. But Nurgle wise, you have Chaos Lord of Nurgle with Icon of Eternal Virulence, and they're going to be on horseback again. Same with Chaos Lord of Nurgle, who has Stream of Corruption and Fleshy Abundance. For this army, it's going to be Pestigors, a whole bunch of Pestigors. We also have Frolickers Bubonics, the Nurgling ROR. They have that blister back for that heal and melee damage reflection and leadership. So they're pretty decent. They have a Vanguard as well, pretty nice. A whole Vanguard army really for the Nurgle side. Very fast, wide moving army with Plague Toads in the back line as well for armor piercing, more armor piercing, and anti-infantry needs. We also have a freaking Toad Dragon, heck yeah. I love the Toad Dragon. It's not great in game. It's definitely not one of the greatest single entity monstrous units, but it's still very cool looking, and that's what matters. They also have a nice breath attack. It is solid damage, but it takes a while to come out from the takes a while for the animation to actually play. Chaos Furies in the back line as well. For the Skaven side, no surprise there. Icky Claw, presumably on his Dumo. Yep, with Storm Demon, Unlimited Power, and Flensine Ruin. We also have another Dumo, so double Dumo. Interesting, never seen that. Or actually, haven't seen that in a long, long time since Warhammer 2. But Dwarf Thing Menace as well, the Doomflayer ROR, and a whole bunch of Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats, etc. We also have Store Vermin with Halberds. How many of those we have? Just one? Two. We have two of those. And Rat Ogres in the back line to protect, of course. The Plague Toads and the Pestigors getting in there. Pestigors obviously will whoop a lot of the Skaven infantry. I'm not sure how they do against Storm Vermin, but with up with the Plague Toads, they might win it out. Nonetheless, Toad Dragon is getting in there, chomping, eating some Storm Vermin. Whacking his tail up and about, flailing, causing a big old havoc. There's a big Frenzy Ruin coming here. Yep, I knew it. Overcasted Frenzy Ruin coming down here, hitting the Plague Toads, Pestigors, Chaos Furies as well. That's a beautiful Frenzy Ruin. That's really drastic for the Nurgle side. Hill Dragon should come around and probably start beating down a Nikoclaw if he has the opportunity. I don't see why not. Because he's just not moving at all. That could be a good opportunity to get some damage in. Rakker's coming around. The flank might be able to get a rear charge there on the Pestigors and help out with that engagement. The Sorcerer Lord is capturing the point there. No, actually they can take it off the point. That's surprising. I don't know why they would do that, but they can take it off the point and they don't give a catching it. Toad Dragon coming around, getting up with the Rat Ogres, trying to finish them off. They do have some solid AP, weapon strength in general, so should do some pretty good work against Rat Ogres, and they're terror routed thanks to that Toad Dragon. Toad Dragon needs to get out of those Storm Vermin, however, as the Storm Vermin will do some solid work against them, but the Pestigores are here to help out. Pestigores in return also get terror routed. Doom Flayers and Icky Claw running around, rolling dirty. How the Dwarf Thing's Menace doing so far? Right now, they're just rolling through backline, getting into the Pestigores, you know, fighting those guys and doing some solid work. We have was it a Fleshy Abundance? Yeah, Fleshy Abundance going down on the Toad Dragon. I haven't seen a Breath Attack yet. Let's see yet. Still, Nardu needs to use some of those Breath Attacks because those could do some solid work against the Storm Vermin. Don't forget about your Breath Attacks, Nardu. Come on. I also forgot to mention the Poison Wind Globes, but the Poison Wind Globes are going to come over here and start getting some volleys there on the Plague Toads and start doing some solid work. There's some friendly fire as well, but that's fine. We also have the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, though, coming over. Doesn't stop them in time, but is going to help stop them from shooting now. Well played by Nardu, but the issue is obviously that they didn't make it in time, so Pestigores and Plague Toads take a bit of damage and rout before anything happens. Another Frenzied Ruin hitting somewhere. I think I just saw. Yeah, it was right here. Hitting these Pestigores and whatnot. Frolicker's Bubonic holding back these Clown Rat with spears, as they should be. Double Doomflayer rolling around dirty. The Dwarf Thing Menace, not picking up too much value so far, 374. But probably worth going after with the Toad Dragon, who should not be in freaking Storm Vermin, by the way. Nardu, please take him out of the Storm Vermin. This is horrible for him. He's taking so much damage just because how much of a big boy he is. But also I have an issue with the Toad Dragon. Look how slow he is to get out of this. Why is he struggling so bad to get out of the Storm Vermin? Even with that one single Dwarf Thing Menace, he should not be struggling this bad. That is a serious issue. And it's not like he has issue with mass either. He's 9,000 mass. But if Nardu tried to pull them out earlier before and struggled just as bad, I can completely understand that because I've had that issue before with the Toad Dragon. But Ikit running around with his little goon squad here, and I definitely think it was a mistake to probably not send the Toad Dragon after Ikit. But oh no, the Plague Toads, the Poison Wind Globes are going to finish off that Toad Dragon. Quite unfortunate there's nothing here to save that Toad Dragon because they could provide some decent work there with some Fleshy Abundances if they're available. Yeah, I definitely think this would be going to, unfortunately, to the Skaven side. Another Frenzied Ruin, and Icky Claw just continues to roll dirty. Almost 2,000 value here. Speaking of raid bosses, Icky Claw is one of them. Pestigores do get in there. Storm Vermin are going to fend them off, and yeah, there goes army losses kicking in. Well played to both players. Oh man, it sucks. I don't think Nardu got off a single breath attack with that Toad Dragon. It really, really sucks. Yeah, it definitely would have been much worse to bring Uncle Franco and the other and the Chosen against Skaven. The Toad Dragon is freaking massive. I don't know why he was struggling to move out of any of that. Like, the Doomflayer shouldn't have been enough. None of that should have been enough. I mean, sure, Icky Claw came eventually, but he was struggling before Icky Claw even got there. $2,037 on Ikit. 568 here. 391. There was nothing too substantial here on any of these guys. Yeah, 780 on the Toad Dragon. Yeah, so not a whole lot of value in a lot of things. The Storm Vermin are probably what got most of the value, 1624 and 2632. Yeah. Yeah, the Storm Vermin was able to poke down the Toad Dragon the entire game, unfortunately. Quite unfortunate indeed. But well played to both players. Good job. Yeah, if you play greenskins. Um, all right, we got some more replays to download. Check those out. All right, let's see who's in the lead for the tournament. All right, the tournament seems like Jamie Kim and Ash are in the lead at the moment. Navigator Zhang, B6 A6. We have a few people with 2 points. Let's see. Anarian, Lepizu. Are they? Let's see. I don't think they're either of those are in here, but they will affect your opponent points, obviously, if any of these players have gone up against them before. But all right, we'll just wait for the last game, Narani and Lepizu, and then we'll move on to the semis and finals. Your game against the Empire? I'm sure it was a very good match. I see it. Pride versus an Aryan. Won't watch it just yet, but let me check out the builds. I'm very interested. Double tree men, yes, you went with what I said. Nice. And from what I've seen from the build from the Empire side, I definitely think double ancient treatment could work. Plus Waystalker, that's dirty. I think you could win that. I'm assuming you possibly won that. No spoilers, obviously. We'll watch after. I like it. I like the build. All right, we have the finals. Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely depends on how good that cav does, because that is the most integral part of that build. Because the Knights of the Black Crows are very, very solid. And if they can hold back the tide while the long rifles shoot, do some solid work. I can see the Eagle harassing the engineer or stopping the cab charges. That could be pretty nice. The treatment could also be good use for road blocking the cabs too. They don't die easy to the long rifles either. Got a message from Navigator, so I got the. All right, we'll watch one of the spectator games, or actually, we'll spectate one of the semi-final games. And it seems we do have Chaos Dwarves. Is it? This is not a mirror match, is it? Yep, it's a Chaos Dwarf mirror match. Interesting. Apparently one of the players signed up for the advanced player tournament, but meant to sign up for the new player tournament, and didn't realize till now. Let me pause this. Okay. All right. So for the this is gonna be confusing. For this chaos side, for Navi, we do have Flames of Asgore and Burning Wrath on their Sorcerer Prophet, who is on a Bell Taurus. The rest of the army will be a mostly Chaos Dwarves with a Demonsmith Sorcerer on foot for that Reforge to heal up the Iron Demon. For the rest of the army, we do have a Death Shrieker and a Magma Cannon. So going plus a wait, hold on, double Death Shrieker, a Magma Cannon, and a train. Okay, that's very train heavy. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do Death Shriekers count as? Do Death Shriekers and Magma Cannons count as single entities, or do they just count as regular single entities? I don't know if anybody knows that or not off the top of their head. But we also have a Wilson Tyrender with great weapons. On the other hand, for Buffo, we do have Sorcerer Prophet of Death with Spirit Leech. He's going to be on foot, and he does have his Chalice of Blood and Darkness and Life Leeching. I didn't notice, did the other one have the Chalice too? Yes. Plus Infernal Engineer for that missile resist and reload skill for War Machines. For the rest of our army, it's going to be Infernal Guard Fire Glaives, Blunderbusses, some Infernal. This feels like a really random army. You got triple Blunderbuss, double Fire Glaive, presumably. Yeah, triple Fire Glaive. Some Infernal Ironsworn, some Goblin Laborers as well. We also have the Blazing Beards of Berserk, and Orc Laborers, and more Blunderbuss. So 4 Blunderbuss, or is it 3? 4, yeah. It's a lot of Blunderbusses. Already the Magma Cannon and the Death Shrieker shooting in there. Actually, that was the Magma Cannon. Yeah, it's the Magma Cannon. This is the Death Shrieker. The other Death Shrieker hasn't shot yet. But what a surprise, both Death Shriekers missing me on their shots. The Magma Cannon gets a beautiful shot there on the Blunderbusses and the Goblin Laborer. Spirit Leech going down on the Sorcerer Prophet, slowly whittling him down. I think it's better to go after the Demonsmith, because casting that on the Demonsmith Sorcerer is literally just gonna, he's just gonna heal off of it. So better to go after the Demonsmith, I would say. But one of those Blunderbusses do get routed off. You have the blasting charges coming in from the Ironforn on top of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, doing some solid work there. And another miss from the Death Shriek. We do have the Fire Glaive shooting into the Iron Demon. Iron Demon is going to back away. Infantry is starting to engage for both sides. Death Shriekers continue to shoot in once again. Can they actually land any shots this time? We'll see. Nope. Only miss. This one actually hits, and the Blunderbusses get absolutely destroyed from that single volley there. See, once the Death Shrieker actually hits, it can do tremendous work, but majority of the time, it just freaking misses. Wilson Tyrenders and the Sorcerer Prophet do run down these goblins, and we'll probably continue running down the rest of these goblins and laborers. But we do have the Blunderbusses coming over. Going to get some volleys in on the Wilson Tyrenders, doing some solid work there, but the trees are going to mitigate a lot of that damage, actually. So what should have been a solid volley there was not as good as it could have been, thanks to those trees. This Sorcerer Prophet isn't going after the other Blunderbuss to make sure they don't shoot. Really well played by that player, by the Navi player. Another Magma Cannon shot in on these Fire Glaives, doing some tremendous work. You need to turn around though and probably start shooting at the Sorcerer Prophet, however. Infernal Ironsworn going to get some volleys there with their blasting charges in on those Gestor Warriors. Another Magma Cannon shot into those Fire Glaives and probably going to send them running. Beautiful blasting charge volley there from the Infernal Ironsworn. Going to do some tremendous work. Fire Glaives getting an awful shot there from the Iron Demon on them. They need to turn around and start shooting at those Iron Demons. That does get a reforge, and we do see some shots coming in. And that healing is mitigated quite a bit thanks to the fire damage from those Fire Glaives. Oof! Coupled with that Iron Demon coupled with a volley there from the Death Shrieker. Absolutely tremendous work. The gun line from the other Chaos Dwarfs from Buffo is suffering quite a bit this game. Iron Demon is taking quite a bit of damage, but they are unbreakable, so they will continue going on. Another Magma Cannon hitting those Fire Glaives, doing some solid shots. And with the Fire Glaives on this side as well, turning around and shooting at the Magma Cannon instead. I'd rather these Fire Glaives turn around and finish off the Iron Demon instead of shooting at the Sorcerer, Demon Smith Sorcerer, because he's such a tiny target. Definitely much better to shoot at the much larger target, especially when you have, when you're more accurate at close range. They're trying to finish off the Iron Demon, but then the Sorcerer Prophet comes in there and finishes off that Fire Glaive. They're going to send them running. Blazing Beards of Berserk are making their way back into the back line, but at the end of the day, they're very slow, so they're going to be taking taking some volleys in the meantime. Will they get off another shot before they get sent? They do. Another Magma Cannon shot there. Death Shrieker, however, does not get their shot off. But it matters not, as I think this is most likely to be going to Na'vi. Let's just check that out, though. I don't know if the rare single entity, if Death Shrieker's count as rare single entities or not. I'll check after the game. I was gonna check mid-game, but it's gonna cause my game to poop the bed. You have some ranged units coming back from the Chaos Dwarf side. Blunderbusses as well. Most of them are very tattered and beaten. Sorcerer Prophet is practically full HP. We have any more Spirit Leeches coming in from the Sorcerer Prophet? Probably not at the moment. And the Bolsa Renders are essentially kind of full HP as well. They only have lost one model and are about quarter HP off. You have a charge there on the Infernal Ironsworn, which I didn't even notice that there was an Infernal Ironsworn. But yeah, Infernal Ironsworn gonna hold for quite a bit. Bolsa Renders will eventually get dragged down as they are the Great Weapon variant and they have no infantry support. So at least there's that. The Magma Cannon continues to be chased off by the Blazing Beards. Those Hunter Renders are holding on, surprisingly. I see. The Infernal Iceborne don't have an attack on the order, and then they have an attack order on the Iron Demon. Which, I mean, to be fair, Iron Demon is pretty substantial. At least in terms of the balance of power. If you're able to shut that down, that could help out a lot. But the Iron Demon runs away, then of course the Infernal Iceborne never can catch up to them. Death Shrieker fighting in melee with the Orc Laborers who are funny enough losing. Obviously, they're also taking damage from the Demon Smith, too, so that matters a fair bit. What looked to be going pretty good for Na'vi is actually starting to turn around for Buffo as the Sorcerer Prophet gets heavily damaged. Blunderbusses and the Fire Glaives continue to shoot in, and the Sorcerer Prophet is holding on as well, full HP essentially. And tickets-wise as well, up to 250 as Buffo went for the point rather than as opposed to Na'vi, who kind of just held back and tried to shoot at them while they advanced. Sorcerer Prophet gets another heal from that Spirit Leech. in return also takes damage from that Spirit Lich, so it kind of mitigates each other, kind of cancels each other out a little bit. Nice shot in there from the Iron Demon, absolutely brutalizing those Infernal Ironsworn, and they might get a rear charge on them as well here in a second. Check that out. The kind of damage that does. It was a fairly limp charge, like it stopped halfway, so didn't really do much. But even if the Sorcerer Prophet, even if the train survives, which I don't think it will, and he has 9 HP, and there it goes falling. Balance power is going to start switching a little bit more. And even if these Bull Centaur Renders come over, I don't think they really have enough to capture the point. It's only Orc Laborers and Goblin Laborers plus the range components that are over here in this area, but they still have to outcap all those units. Obviously, they can just route off the Orc Laborers and they can route off both the Laborer units, but right now they don't have much infantry in the way of infantry at all. They have one unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors coming back, but that's about it. Some friendly fire coming in there from your own magma cannons is pretty tough. Or from your own Death Shriekers is coming pretty tough. Hitting your Sorcerer Prophet in the back. And then we have another Breath Attack coming in here, hitting the Blazing Beards, but only like a fragment of him. They're trying to aim in at the Sorcerer Prophet, and I do like Death Shriekers shooting their single shots at single entities, but not at the small ones, not at the ones that are foot lords. At rare single entities like the Sorcerer Prophet on a Beltaurus, yes, because they can do some pretty good work and have some nice tracking. But on foot lords and casters, they just knock them over. Oh, but here we go. The Orc Laborers and yeah, all the Laborers get routed off. And now we only have the Sorcerer Prophet. So now they can outcap Buffo here and take the point, as the Ironfire Ironsworn had just been chasing in the backline when it should have been back here on the point. To be fair though, if the Infernal Ironsworn was over here, it would have been continuously shot by the Death Shrieker. So, understandable. Sorcerer Prophet now trying to go in to try to kill the other Sorcerer Prophet, but so far not enough. But I mean, if they got the Demon Sorcerer or the Bull Centaur Renders to help out as well, I think they could definitely kill the Sorcerer Prophet. Fairly tight game, but I definitely think it will be going to Na'vi for sure. Despite how close Buffo is to winning on tickets. Which is quite unfortunate. Yep, and Buffo bows out. Well played to both players. Yeah, so the Death Shrieker does not count as a red single entity, so they're good. Gotta say, I feel for poor Buffo there, because again, it was just another situation where you got countered. So up against a mirror match with Chaos Dwarves, I'd probably bring at least one train. If you're not bringing a train, I definitely think it's a mistake. But also not finishing off that Iron Demon earlier on was pretty drastic. But other than that, it was mostly just obviously the artillery. Not having anything to shut down the artillery, whether it be just Goblin Laborers or rather Goblin Wolf Riders, was just very tragic, unfortunate. 2104 on that Sorcerer Prophet. Everything else did fine. 1712 for the Bull Centaur Renderers. 2362. 1239 and 1245. Death Shriekers, despite missing quite a bit, still managed to pick up some solid value both. That's 2500 value essentially on both of them together. 2190 on this single source of profit, and he was on foot, so he did a pretty good job there. 2156 on the Blazing Beards, nice. 1288 on the Iron Sworn. 774, 504. Fireglaves, despite being beaten and battered by those Death Shriekers and Magma Cannons, still surprisingly did well. Well played, double players. Okay, sweet. I didn't know they were waiting for me. Awesome. Second semi between Ash and Jeongdam Sol. Let's see. They said it's just called Ash 07. There we go. Was a player signed up for the new player tournament when they were looking for sleeper level plays? I don't know. Are you talking about Krasinski, who signed up for advanced player tournament but thought they signed up for new player tournament? Because if so, that's the person. Yeah. Hey, look, Nardu, it's your favorite. The dwarves up against Noiska. Yeah, poor guy. I wonder how they did. I've been playing this week. Oh, you bastard. I'm so jealous. Ah, I want to be playing Space Marine 2. I hope it's fun. I'm very jealous. Let's see. Check the bracket. Oh yeah, unfortunately, Krasinski. Um, that was weird. Krasinski showed up for they signed up for both the Rat Ogre tournament and they were intending to sign up for the new player tournament for today for the Conquest. But instead they signed up for the Rat Ogre tournament, accidentally signed up for the advanced player tournament, and lost in their first round in the advanced player tournament. That sucks. That really sucks. I just dropped $76. You can get in today. I know, right? I'd sell my Total Warhammer account right now to play Space Marine 2. Who wants it? Let's see. Grombindle. Who's Grombindle? Grombrindle will be leading the dwarf side. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It's a fun build if there's no Thoric. And it looks like might be the case, we'll see. Grombrindle has no fear with Flash Bomb and Rune Axe of Grombrindle. We have double Dragon Slayer, as that seems to be like kind of the meta right now. They're cheap, good fighters. Slayers, double Slayer with double Gyrocopter, the steam gun variant. With hammerers in the front line, double hammerers in the front line. Hell yeah, baby! Longbeards, Equine Minders, more Dwarven Warriors, and some Thunderer Grudge Rakers, and a regular Thunderer variant. Hell yeah. But for the Norskin side, we do have a Marauder Chieftain on a freaking Mammoth. Hell, speaking of another hell yeah, double hell yeah, with Fight or Die for the rest of the army. Marauders, a whole bunch of Marauders, some with great weapons. We also have another War Mammoth with War Shrine. This is like a freaking double Mammoth Warhammer 2 build. Hell yeah. Marauders with great weapons. And then we have some Familiar Warriors. Okay, Tactical Lich, spreading your influence everywhere. With more Familiar Warriors as well. And triple Marauder Horseman with Rune Axes and a Manticore. Also have a Metal Caster. I didn't even see them. With Searing Doom, presumably. Yeah, just Searing Doom. Marauder Chieftain already getting blown away by those Thunder's Grudge Rakers. Oh my god, those Grudge Rakers are deleting him. And now we have the steam guns shooting at him as well. Is not looking great. War Shrines. The War Shrine is getting in there, trying to get in dirty. But will he get a charge in there before he gets Blast Samurai? Okay, he gets in there, nice. But that was a pitiful charge. If you compare that to Stonehorn, Stonehorn does so much more damage for no reason. Mammoth should be doing a tremendous amount of damage, but it does nothing. Look at that charge. That is so pitiful. Why, Mammoths? Why? Why, CA? Please help Norska. Help the Mammoths. But Feral Manticores continue to chase after the Gyrocopters, as that's its sole duty. Why were you brought into the match? Just to chase Gyrocopters. Oh. War Shrine, you know, tempting to do stuff. It does have terror at the very least, and it does have buffs for any nearby allies. Up to 3% Fizz Res at the moment. It goes up to 20% eventually. The Marauder Horsemen are getting some shots into the Slayers, but I'd rather have them be throwing those shots at the Gyrocopters instead, or go around and throw them at the infantry or Grudge Rakers. But finally we get some nice charges in there on the Thunderers from those Mammoths, finally doing some dirty work. And once they rout those guys, they should be continue moving on, as they're now being chased by Slayers and the Dragon Slayer. Definitely need to get out of there. But for some reason they're stuck a little bit. There we go, constantly pushing through. We have another Searing Doom coming down here, hitting those Equine Miners, but not doing too solid work. Actually does a little friendly fire as well to the Marauder Chieftain. Familiar Warriors and Marauders finally finish off those Dwarven Warriors. Can now come over to finish off the Equine Miners once they realize that they're done. But these throwing axes are keeping the Slayers busy. The Slayers were chasing after the throwing axes instead of continuing to chase after the Mammoths. So doing some solid work there. Some solid distraction work. Save the Mammoths! Save them! I wanted to call PETA. Shaman Sorcerer is being absolutely crumped by these two. Definitely don't want to be involved with a fight with these two, Grombrindle and the Dragon Slayer. He's going to be chopped in half in a second. 1001 HP. Another Searing Doom coming down, doing some decent work there. Yeah, this caster is definitely gone. Finally, the Dwarven Lords and Heroes can actually catch up to something. Chieftain's going to come make their way over, try to finish off those Dwarf Warriors. Same with this Mammoth as well. Famir, unfortunately, are having to fight the Dragon Slayer at the moment, who does have bonus versus large. He's going to do some solid work taking out those Famir. Are the other Famir routed off completely? We have one here. Yeah, the other one routed off with only 5 models left. So this is the last one left. And they'll probably be finished off here soon. Yep, only 6 models and down to 5. The mammoths are... This one's still relatively healthy. It has 6,500 more HP. This one, the chieftain, only has 2,500 left. So gotta be more careful with him. But they're not good fighters. So they're not gonna be fighting the Dragon Slayer or Grumbrindle in 1v3 or 2v3. It's not gonna go well at all for them. Gotta try to win out on points somehow, or army losses, but it's not gonna be army losses because there's freaking 2 unbreakable single entities here you're gonna have to finish off. How's the hammers do? The hammers got... I can't see them yet. There we go. Hammers got 103 kills, 781 value. Not too shabby. More mammoth needs to get out of there. Gyrocopters still have a decent amount of ammunition. Manticore is still up. Gyrocopters have what? 14 volleys left on this one and 16 volleys left on the other one. They could finish off the chieftain. That's how good the steam guns are. And unfortunately, I think that'll be going to the dwarves. As much as I want the mammoths to win, they're not that great, especially good enough to carry an entire game. Up to 100% fizzle res though, like 20%, 100% charge, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the double dragon slayer is too much. And the gyrocopters as well. The manticores are just... They suck at chasing down gyrocopters. They like never do the job. I mean, I guess they do in a sense, like they get them to stop shooting, but you really need those throw nexus to throw those volleys into the gyrocopters. Yeah, that'll be going to most likely to the Dawi. Double Dragon Slayer is a menace as always. Would have to argue that this is the Dawi cheese. Dawi player, I mean the Norscan player is trying to scrap it back, but fortunately it's a little too late. As these horsemen get chopped apart by these slayers. Dragon Slayer's just having a freaking field day right now. Same with Grumbrindle. Well played to both players. Solid match. 980 here. You do 2966. Yeah, just the Dragon Slayers are good, are great as always. 1315 on the Grudge Rakers. They got some insane value on that chieftain on that first initial like 2 volleys. Our chieftain got 1186 despite how much damage he took early on. Not bad. Yeah, the Metal Caster only got 117 value. It's pretty rough. He should have been able to be there late game, casting Searing Dooms. 1094, 636, and 1751 on the other War Mammoth. Nice. Not too shabby. Yeah, I liked a fun pick, but unfortunately, that'll be going to the Dwarven player. Oops. I didn't mean to leave that. Alright, so it seems like it's gonna be a good old grudge match for the grand finals. Dwarves versus the Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, I think so. Good question. I think not a lot. Not a lot. I think it's a pretty dreaded matchup for the Norskin side. You do have javelins and you do have throwing axes, but the majority of the time, those throwing axes, those javelins won't able to get into range to actually shoot at the gyrocopters, and the Marauder Horsemen, by the time they get into range, majority of the time when they try to get into range, they'll be chased off by Slayers, or they'll be counterfired by the gyrocopters, and gyrocopters will just do more damage quicker than the throwing axes will. I think the Norskin side is just gonna have bad matchup against him majority of the time. I've seen some solid work with double Chaos Frost Dragons. Frost Worms, whatever they're called now. I'm sure they're called Frost Dragons now, right? They're not called Frost Worms the other way around. Yeah. I saw, who was it? Tactical Lich bring them against. I saw Tactical Lich have some good work with them. Double Frost Dragon against dwarves, constantly chasing after the gyrocopters. They don't. Obviously, most of the time they're not going to kill them, despite them being faster and having their slowing aura, which doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't be able to catch them. But they'll be able to screen them out, which is kind of more than enough. And if they do catch them, they will get a bite or two in and kill off a model. The Frost Dragons aren't like inherently faster. They have 90 to 105. But with their chilling aura, it slows down the gyrocopters by 30%. So obviously you're having to invest a lot more though. You're having to pay 1,700 for the Frost Dragon, while the Dwarven player only has to pay like 700 for the gyrocopters, which is, you know, insane. But you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. Okay. All right. Hmm. Yep, that's double organ gun. All right. You got double organ gun for the Dwarven side with Dwarf Warriors, great weapons, and base variants as well. Some Slayers plus the Peak Gate Guard Hammer ROR. Pretty Chad pick there. I love the Peak Gate Guard and hammers in general, but these guys have armor sundering plus magical attacks, so pretty solid. Also have some base Thunderers, no Great Drakers this time, and double Gyrocopters, of course, plus the Grombrindle and double Dragon Slayer combo. The Flash Bombs should do fantastic at catching out any speedy units from the Castorf side, which typically it's like Wolf Raiders or Bull Centaur Renderers, etc. You do have in return double artillery for the Castorf themselves. They said that you're not cheesing me, I'm cheesing you. Double Death Shriekers, if they can actually hit stuff this time, should be pretty deadly. But we'll see. Hobgoblin Sneaky gets a whole bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surrounding the Dwarven army. Not great here, I think, but they can collapse on any Rangers, any Thunderers, etc. if they can get a chance. The majority of the time, they kind of just get screened out or finished off by Gyrocopters very quickly. Infernal Guard with great weapons, which is a funny pick for sure. Definitely not one of the better great weapons in the game. Elite great weapons in the game. I've tried them against numerous amounts of other great weapon units, and they just trade so poorly. They're not great. Very cool though. And some more Chaos Dwarfs with great weapons, more Infernal Guard with great weapons, and some regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors. So this is definitely a build for sure. This is a build that you would see in this game, a video game. Oh yeah, we also have Dryzoth going for that like elite center core build with the presumably, yep, Dark Renown, giving that plus 8 melee attack, so bringing them up to 40 melee attack, which is pretty good because they're pretty pitiful in terms of melee attack for a great weapon unit. But we also have Flames of Asgore and the Demons by Crucible for that spell mastery. Death Shrieker shooting in and missing both shots on the Gyrocopters. Beautiful. Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders getting some solid work there with that initial volley. And if anything, the Wolf Raiders should be great at shutting down the Gyrocopters, hopefully, you'd think. Oh, that nasty blasting charge. Ah, oof. Yikes. Oh my god. Dirty. Just dirty. To be fair, they also don't have great AP either. Yeah, 3. You need to focus on one instead of shooting at 2 different ones, and they are now focusing on this one. Yeah, at this close range, just focus on them with the Death Shriekers. Yeah, while this is happening, they can't shoot at the Dwarven army, which obviously is much better for the dwarves. But now they're getting shots into the Death Shriekers, which is pretty good. But now they're going to switch their fire over to the Dwarven army themselves. Start firing at the Peak Gate Guard. If that shot can hit anything. And a miss. Classic draft shriek. What about this one? He just slightly tags them. Yep, that's a death shriek. Sounds about right. But yeah, look, as you can see, even with constantly countering firing at the gyrocopters, the skirmishing unit, the skirmish cav, or the chaos orbs, are losing. Like, what the heck is this? I know they don't have great AP, but still, like, my god. I definitely think it would have been worth bringing the Wolf Raider RWR though to give them that flammable, so at least even if you don't have great AP, the increased damage from flammable is worth it for sure. Would help. Death Shriekers continue firing in and now firing at the organ guns, shutting down one artillery piece. I don't know why that one continued to shoot at a piece that was already destroyed. Pretty good targeting there for the AI on the crew. I think he gets thrown in there shots into the Slayers, doing, you know, not too bad with their little crappy knives. Organ guns beginning to shoot in at the dwarves, Chaos dwarves. Again, shoots in at the broken artillery piece. Well done. Hobgoblin Sneaky gets against Slayers exactly what they want, because they do have bonus for infantry, and Slayers have no armor. So look at that, they're absolutely getting murdered. Obviously, the Stinky Gits are taking quite a bit of damage return, but that's exactly what kind of fight they want to be taking. Death Shrieker being shut down, and still these gyrocopters are up. My god, man. Like, this one only lost like 4 models. This one, excuse me, 5 models. This one only lost 1, and constantly still shooting them and have plenty of ammunition left. That is heinous. But the Thunderers are shooting in and getting some solid work there on the Chaos Dwarves. They do have silver shields, however, so mitigating some of that damage. Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits do finish off, or almost close to finishing off those Slayers. Only 20 models left. Definitely worth sending one around to get on top of those Thunderers. Just instead of keeping both of them on one point. It would be nice to have a nice Flames or Asgore here. That'd be so beautiful. But Drazo's so far away, it's not going to be possible. His Dwarf Warriors are going to get crumped by those Thunderers, by those hammers. But we are going to have a Flames of Asgore coming in. Let's see if it comes through. Yep. And, oof. That's nasty. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh, that's beautiful. The Chaos Dwarf Warriors are get taken out, but the Pinky Guard take a tremendous amounts of damage from that. Now here's the issue. Drazov is going to get bullied by the Dragon Slayer and by double Dragon Slayer and Grombrindle. He needs to get out of there. Organ Gun. Now this is where they fail. They can't see crap, but they are still going to turn around, however, and start shooting at these Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Might be able to get off a volley or two before it loses the ability to see them. These Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits come back and should be able to come over and shut down the Organ Gun if they so choose. And this one can go around and get on top of the Thunderers. But these Chaos Dwarf Warriors are already on top of that as well. Dressel is absolutely getting bullied right now to all heck. It's quite unfortunate for Drazoth, as, yeah, he's not going to be able to get away from this. But we do have the Infernal Guard Iron Glaives coming over, or rather the Infernal Guard with Great Weapons coming over. Try to screen out those Dragon Slayers. But that will give the Organ Gun free range to blast him in the side. But yeah, Drazoth is gone. And I think that's it. Smoke bomb coming in. Drazoth is probably going to be dead here soon. That's the unfortunate part about taking a Footlord against the Dowie, is they always get caught out and bullied. Unless you have like a mass to screen out the Chaos Dwarf heroes and lords. Sneaky Gits screened out by the Chaos Dwarf, by the Dwarf Warriors. The Sneaky Gits are making their waiver, might be able to shut it down. Only has 804 value, but that's still not too shabby. 804 value that's actually just from shooting at the freaking Fire Gloves, pretty much, or rather the Infernal Guards, pretty much. That's pretty nice, just from shooting at one unit. They got like 1 or 2 volleys off from regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but that was barely any value at all. Unfortunately, I think it is over for the Chaos Dwarves. As much as I want to root for them, the Dowie would be taking the win in these ground finals and taking the new player tournament. Yeah, 100 armor on them is so incredibly unfair. Like, it's already hard enough to hit them as it is because of how, like, scattered their formation is. And, like, that 100 armor is just, like, insane. But definitely those steam guns are just, like, broken as crap right now. And that's why they're constantly limited to just two, but even two is insane. Like 1851 and 2089. Can you freaking like what is this? This is nuts. Skirmish cav should be the counter to freaking gyrocopters. I mean, obviously Wolf Raiders just kind of suck in general, but so they aren't a great example. But these do good against other better skirmish cav. 936, 703. I'm betting you all the values pretty much in the gyrocopters. Yeah, 65 here and 837. 755 on Drazoth. I think he gets. That was a nicer round, but fortunately was not enough. Infernal guards, great weapons. They didn't do horrendously, but they didn't do great either. Yeah, Sneaky gets. I mean, the Wolf Raiders did pretty pitiful. 38 value on this Stuff Trigger. My God, that trigger is just so freaking inaccurate, which sucks. But once they do hit, they do tremendous amounts of damage. It's just there's such a liability one of the majority of the time. 765 on this one. And even with their single fire, they couldn't hit the freaking gyrocopters. Like, what the heck was that? Right in front of them, they still couldn't hit them. I do think the what is it called? Uh, Not magma cannon. The L cannons have much better tracking on them. I probably would try those rather than regular death streaks when you're up against the dwarves because they have nice tracking on them. They can shoot at gyrocopters, take out models, and also do some pretty good splash damage against dwarven range units. I like Hell cannons a lot, and of course they're unbreakable. So now, what you gonna bet that we won't see a gyrocopter nerf soon? And if we do, it's gonna be something like plus 25 gold cost or minus 200 HP. Something very small, very minor. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, B686. Hope you have a good one. We'll play it in today's tournament. Gonna be going over some replays now. All right, let's go over some replays. Close this. All right, obviously I want to see how Pride did against the Empire. So let's check that out. All right, let's go over this dreaded matchup real quick. Durthu rocking Sword of Death and Flock of Doom with Wild Heart for that power recharge rate. We also have another Tree Man. This is a... I'm not sure if they took my recommendation, but I said go double Tree Man if we're going to go for a fun build. And they did bring in second Tree Man. So I do have 110 armor. And of course the missile resistance plus physical resistance as well. So should help mitigate a lot of the damage from range components of the Empire side. We also have Internal Guard for the front line with a whole bunch of Tree Men. 4 in total, 1 being the Firebark Elders, which I think is a pretty decent pick here. A bunch of a Tree Man rush. I like it a lot. Treekin with Tree Man. Yeah, and then we also have a Waystalker, another recommendation that I threw out there. I'm not sure if, again, that's why they brought it, but Hawkish Precision and Arrow of Kurnus to be pretty good at sniping out any artillery models or just using it on the steam tank, which is typically what's brought. Actually, wait, aren't the... Hold on one second. I just want to check real quick. Not this, Total Tavern. Let me pause the game. Yeah, the steam tanks are banned, aren't... Yeah, the steam tanks are banned, so... Isn't this a rule break? Bring the Mass Engineer in a steam tank? I'm like 90% sure, 99% sure that's a rule break. But we'll see how the game goes. For this army, we have a Spellsinger with Life, with Earthblood. Do I have the music still playing? I don't. Okay. With Earthblood and Life Bloom. We also have a Waystalker as well, as I said, and a Great Eagle. Chase down any range components as well, and stop any cav charges. Could be pretty nice. So, but they're pretty pitiful. I wish they have AP. Buff to Great Eagle, please. They suck. They're dookie caca. Bad. No good. Buff them. And also bring us the, give us the, what else? The Eagle mount. The Eagle unit from campaign, the like multiple unit variant which has AP on it. There's like multiple entities. Glade Riders as well in the Vanguard. For the Empire side, we do have a Master Engineer on Steam Tank with Pigeon Bomb, a Jade Wizard with Earthblood and Regrowth. For the rest of the army, Spearmen and Swordsmen, including the Grendel's Defenders, ROR. We have triple Auckland Long Rifles. Is it triple or I thought it was... Okay, it's double. I thought it was triple for some reason. We also have Empire Knights, double Empire Knights, and it should be double Knights of the Black Rose as well. See how things go. No, yeah, in the custom units limits, it says all Steam Tank variants are banned. So I presume that means the mount variant as well. Because why would the mount variant be, you know, fine if the other ones aren't? Which makes sense because Steam Tanks are bullshit. But, you know. This is my fault for winning the Steam Tank buff. But Steam Tanks are getting in. I mean, the infantry is getting in there. Durthu definitely does not want to be staying too long in the range of the Huckling Long Rifles. Got to get something on there. Whether it be the Eagle or the Wild Rider, something. Because Durthu cannot just be sitting here the entire time taking that. Firebark Elder also need to probably screen out the Knights of the Black Rose. Get a, like, or send these Treekin around. I'm not sure. But the Knights of the Black Rose clearly are going to go for like some flanking charge. Or the Firebark Elder could also be sent to try to put onto the Mass Engineer, which I think is exactly what they're doing. You have the Great Eagles being sent in to get on top of the Hawkland Long Rifles, but the Empire Knights do end up screening it out along with the help of Spearmen. And unfortunately, that Great Eagle's probably going to die there very quickly because it doesn't have much mass to get out of there. I'll probably send the Treemen up. Push into the Hawkland Long Rifles because even if the Cav tries screening it out, it has a lot of armor and a lot of mass. so it can push through them and get on top of the long rifles. Because their third through right now is being under fire. It's taking so much damage. I would just continue pushing their through up along with the other treemen. Both the treekin, send the internal guard around maybe or something like this to support in the back line. Probably send the internal guard to the back line and help. Yeah, I also need these Glade Riders up and going here soon. They might be able to shut down the Huckling Rifle soon if the Empire Knights don't notice them, which I don't think they do. Nice, beautiful charge there on the Huckling Rifle, shutting those guys down. Earthblood going on Thurthu, and that's also a thing. That's also the thing. Thurthu may be taking a lot of damage, but he does have Earthbloods in his back pocket, so it helps a lot. And now the Master Engineer is surrounded, and this should be exactly where you'd want the steam tank to be, right? 2 treemen beating down on it. You also have treekin nearby, which are being run down by the steam tank somehow, and yet it's barely taking any damage. Flock of Doom hitting all these units. A really nice valued Flock of Doom right there. Beautiful Flock of Doom. I also think maybe sniping out the Jade Wizard could be pretty smart as well. Just using a Waystalker on like an Arrow of Cronus on him would be pretty nice. Or shooting at him the entire time with the Waystalker. Yeah, man, the Steam Tank managed to get away from that. What is that? Maybe I was missing something there, but what the heck is that, man? Surrounded by treemen and freaking treekin, and still managed to get away. Nonetheless, the treekin are keeping the spearmen busy. Hawkland rifles trying to shoot in. Outside the treekin, I'd force the treekin to continue pushing because they're not going to take much damage, and that's exactly what Pride is doing. Well played by Pride. Really good, really smart choice there. You got to stop them from shooting as much as possible. Treeman going over and trying to beat down on the Jade Wizard, but somehow misses that initial attack. Does it hits the second attack? Nice attack there, and it gets another freaking Earthblood. Or is that a regrowth? I think a regrowth. Yeah, so a regrowth can be topping of that Master Engineer. Just wonderful. Isn't that just wonderful? I love that steam tanks can be held like that by regrowths and Earthbloods. That's beautiful. Yep. They're through just grinding things out. Luckily, he's no longer under fire from the Hawkling long rifles, though one is still up and is starting to try to turn around and start shooting at him again. But the treekin are there. Hopefully, they can get on top of him once again. We do have a few models tagged at the moment, so pretty nice. And this is why I think the treekin are nice here. There's a little rush because they're very hard to get rid of, even with all the cav from the Empire side. They have so much armor and they're just very, very durable. Obviously they're slow, so they can avoid them a majority of the time, but still. Pigeon Bomb coming in here and doing some solid work against the Knights of the Back Rows. Actually, was it the Pigeon Bombs? Or was that something else? I think that was a Pigeon Bomb. But yeah, I did some friendly fire there. Fortunately, Treeman is just being kited. But no surprise there. 35 freaking speed. I didn't notice how slow they were. Maybe a Forest Dragon would be better. I don't know. The reason I say Treeman is because of how much armor they have and how durable they are. 56, 110 armor, and then again the Fizz Res and the Missile Resistance. Very tough to get rid of. Especially if you shut down their range components of the Empire side. Which, oh my god, if the Eagle is back or the Glade Archers are back, they could shut down these. They can completely chase out the Huckling long rifles, which could be legendary. Yeah, the Waystalker is continuing to try to shoot in at the Master Engineer, but most of the time they're obstructed. So that's why I would say shooting at the Life Wizard is a little better. But in this case, the Jade Wizard is being caught out by the Treeman. Yeah, definitely we'll switch over targets to the Jade Wizard in this case. Whenever you see Master Engineer, because especially considering that the Waystalker doesn't have that great AP in the first place with 84. I think it's not even worth shooting at the Master Engineer the entire time. I would just use the Arrows of Cronus on the Master Engineer and the regular shots on the Jade Wizard, because eventually he can snipe him out, and if not, it's causing damage to the Jade Wizard, which means that the Jade Wizard has to heal themselves unless they want their Jade Wizard to die. But slowly but surely, the Wood Elf player is racking up points, doing some solid work. The Treeman is doing beautiful work, honestly, just being a really good distraction card effects. You have another Flock of Doom. Is it a sort of Death as well, possibly? Not sure, but there's a Flock of Doom there, I think. Getting all those Empire Knights, and that's just wonderful. If anybody can handle the freaking Master Engineer and all these cav, it's definitely Durthu. Durthu is that man. He is him. He will beat the brakes off the Master Engineer. Not beat the brakes off of him because somehow the Syndicate is broken as heck. But he will fend them off and beat the brakes off the Empire Knights. Oof, another unfriendly pigeon bomb there on the Spearman. Treeman riding off those Spearmen. We're going to come back. Huckling Line Rifles only have 18 models left with 626 HP. And now it's just turning into a big old blob fight, which is exactly what Durthu kind of wants. If he has any sort of death yet. Nope, he doesn't. He ran out. But he should have most likely more Winds of Magic for Flocks of Dooms. Though, I don't know. That could be wrong because he's also having to cast Earthbloods. Yeah, another Flock of Doom coming in. Another beautiful one here, hitting all those Empire Knights, the Spearmen. That's a really nice Flock of Doom. But will the Master Engineer be able to clutch this out with 160 armor, 100 leadership, being unbreakable? It's, you know, it's well within his realm. He things up here a little bit as the tree can try to screen out the rest of this, but they finally get finished off, and the Empire does bow out. Well played. I can't believe the double treatment worked. Good job, Pride. See, 3159 on Durthu. Nice. Durthu did some legendary work. 717. Here, everything else did fine. Of course, the Eagle didn't do anything besides like distraction card effects for like a total of 10 seconds. 876 on the Firebark Elders and 1135 on the Treeman. Yeah, that was your win con for sure. Because otherwise, if it was regular land battle, they would just be able to kite you. But double treatment and tree can rush works extremely well here on the capture point, as you're able to just hold on to the point at the very end and yeah, just build up those points while the Empire didn't have that capture weight. So the end there, the points really did matter. 2653 on the Master Engineer. If it was land battle, it definitely would have been a different story. 779 there on the other Auckland Line Rifles. They picked up some pretty good value just shooting at Durthu most of the time. Yeah, because the Master Engineer was practically taking no damage, which is insane. Like, how is Durthu and the Tree Man not able to kill the Master Engineer? Why is he taking such little damage? But really well played. Good job. I think you should send that one into like Human Boy or something like that, and get a video out of it. I think that's worth another cast from another point of view as well. I think that was pretty solid. I don't know why some of these are like bugged. Like some of these don't have like faction names, which is weird. Oh, up here. So, Anarian versus Joy Boy. Kislev, Chaos Dwarves versus Skaven. Another Norse can go at the Dwarves. Norska versus the Empire. Siege versus Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, let's try the Zine for Chaos Dwarves. Why not? Yeah, it is like insane how little damage the Master Engineer was taking from the arrows of Kurnus and Derthu. Like, obviously he got healed up quite a bit because of the regrowths, which are bullshit. But they definitely were not doing as much damage as they should. Sorcerer Prophet is going to be on a Bell Taurus with Searing Doom and Final Transmutation. Would be the right choice, by the way. Trustable in Darkness and Infernal Engineer. You do have double Bull Centaur Renders with great weapons to help deal with any heavy cav from the Zinchian side, as well as the Soul Grinder if they need to surround one. But also Centaurs of Zinch too. Are pretty big nowadays, so you can use these guys to fight them. Though, I think it'll be a pretty even trade. Well, I don't know though. Chaos Warriors will be mostly the front line. We also have the Oglacon's Wolf Boys, the ROR Missile Cav. And we have the Granite Guard, Chaos Blunderbuss ROR. You do have that dig-in mechanic, so 25 seconds they have to sit still, and they get all these bonuses, but 25 seconds of sitting still, especially against a very high mobility faction like Zinch, that's going to be a tough task. But Magma Cannon as well, which should do some decent work against the Zinchian side. Speaking of the Zinchian side, we have Karo's Fate Weaver with Scroll of Destiny and Blue Fire plus Briona's Time Warp and Life Leeching plus Arcane Conduit. For the rest of the army, it's going to be Marauders of Zinch, a whole bunch of those guys with Flamers, double Flamers, and a Soul Grinder of Zinch. It's no longer the overpowered beast that it was, but it's still pretty solid at shooting at large targets. Chaos Furies and Centaurs of Zinch on this flank, and only one Centaur on the other flank, but another Chaos Furies as well. Blue Fire going to be going down on the Oglacon's Wolf Boys, doing some solid work there. Not too shabby, knocking off about 9 models or so as they get some shots into the Soul Grinder as well. The shield's mitigating all that damage, of course. Do we breach those shields at all? Yeah, we do breach those shields a tiny bit. But the Flamers make their way over and start throwing some volleys into the Wolf Raiders. But they don't really do a whole lot of damage. Social Prophet chasing after Karos, trying to get him to stop shooting those blue fires, most likely. But instead, he's going to turn around and get on top of those Flamers, which is a pretty solid choice. The only other unit right now that can protect those Flamers is the Soul Grinder, who's just going to decide to shoot at them instead. And, yeah, I definitely think it's worth chasing down those Flamers, as they have the potential to do a lot of damage. Bull Centaur Render is pushing in as well. Get on top of those Flamers, that could be a solid choice, as these Flamers get a nice volley there on the Sorcerer Prophet. But yeah, here we come, the Bull Centaur Renders, and that's exactly what you want to begin on top of those Flamers. On the back line, we also have the Flame Cannon shooting, doing some solid work against the Marauders. Centaur's finally starting to collapse. This is exactly what they need to be doing. We have one Centaur, what the heck? Centaur is left behind and forgotten about, unfortunately, seen with his Chaos Furies, but maybe they're waiting for the Magma Cannon to be left alone. Maybe give the Chaos Dwarf player peace of mind so they can collapse on them when the Bull Centaur Render runs up. A Bull Centaur Render still pushing into that back line. Does finish off those Flamers, presumably. I don't see them anywhere. I think they've been shut down completely, and the Chaos Furies are trying to stop them. You have a Searing Doom coming down here on the Marauders, doing some solid work. Wolf Boys are being chased down by the Furies, but we do have some Chaos Dwarf Warriors to try to screen out those guys. But the Centaurs do end up catching them a bit. If the Sorcerer Prophet jumps down, that could be a nice catch there on the Centaurs, stop them. That's exactly what they want to do, as the Sorcerer Prophet is pretty much the only thing that can catch onto the mobility of those Centaurs. You have more Centaurs coming over. A nice Searing Doom here could do wonders. I don't know what got casted here, but the Centaurs do end up pulling out as they know they don't want to be blobbing up against the Sorcerer Prophet. But the Centaurs do actually turn back around and go after him once again. Or they're going after the Chaos Dwarves. Yeah, they're going after the Chaos Dwarves instead, as the Sorcerer Prophet tries to chase off the Centaurs and rout them off completely. The Soul Grinder continuing to shoot in at the Sorcerer Prophet, slowly but surely building up damage. At 1132 right now, that's pretty good. So yeah, it's not the beast it was once was, but it's still pretty solid. Wolf Boys continue kiting away the Centaurs, which is pretty solid, obviously, for the Chaos Dwarves, as the Centaurs are extremely expensive and have that AP that is desperately needed to get through the Chaos Dwarves infantry and to fight back the Bull Centaur Renderers. Magma Cannon continuing to fire in, and the Granite Guard pretty much had no reason to ever shoot anything, or had no ability to ever shoot anything. Beautiful Searing Doom coming in here. An overcasted one, I think. Hitting all of these units, the Centaurs plus the Chaos Furies. That's wonderful there. That's just a really nice Searing Doom. Plus hitting the Centaurs too. Both of them get terror routed. The Chaos Dwarf player is playing this extremely well. Despite, having one of the most expensive units on their roster. One of the most expensive units in this build, all the way in the back line, doing nothing. Sorcerer Prophet continuing to be shot at by the Soul Grinder, but the Soul Grinder will heal up quite a bit any time that the Tzeentch caster is casting, which will be a lot. As you can see, that 0.80% for 13 seconds is so incredibly good. Let's speed things up here as the Magma Cannon continues to shoot in. Soul Grinder trying to grind things out here, but I definitely think it'll be going to the Chaos Dwarf player unless something goes seriously wrong here. These Bull Centaur Renderers are being beaten down, and they do get terror routed, which is not great, but in return, the Centaurs are taking quite a bit of damage. Ooh! A third tier army ability coming down from the Tzeentch Society, lining up and hitting those Granite Guard as they try to move up. And look how much damage they did. My god. That was beautiful. Absolutely tearing them apart, pretty much ripping the entire unit apart. Only a third of their HP left. Half their models, essentially. But it's not going to be enough, and Karos Fate Weaver is sent back to the Tzeentchian realms. And that goes to the Chaos Dwarfs. Well played by Navi. Navi is a pretty solid Chaos Dwarf player so far from what I've seen. 2382 on that. Sorcerer Prophet. 1402 and 1911 on those Bull Centaur Renders. 900 there. On the Magma Cannon, not too bad. Not too shabby. Been seeing that a lot, the Magma Cannon. Centaurs did solid as well. Everything else did fine. The Soul Grinder did most of the damage. But with the Sorcerer Prophet constantly healing up that entire game, the damage kind of just gets mitigated in a way. Yeah, I think the kind of game got dictated whenever the Flamers got shut down so fast. They had so much potential to do so much more damage, but the moment they got shut down, it was pretty much going downhill at that point. All right, let's go over a few more. Do you have, let's see. Is this against the same player, or is this against a different player who's playing Tzeentch? I think it's against a different player who's playing Tzeentch. Dwarves against Tzeentch. Bretonnia against the Chaos Dwarves could be okay. Let's do Norsca versus the Empire. All right. For the Norskin side, we do have Wolfric the Wanderer, who apparently doesn't have a name. He's a nameless fighter. Seafang and Hunter of Champions. He is going to be on horseback, and he won't shut up. Shut up, Wolfric. And the rest of the army is going to be Marauder Berserkers, which are pretty pitiful. A 24 melee defense is horrendous. They can like hold a point, like hold a flank for a little while. And they will beat state troopers at the very least. I think this is one of the only matchups they can be pretty decent in is against state troopers. But those 24 melee defenses is horrendous. And 15 armor. Pretty bad. But Marauders on both flanks. Some Norskin Ice Wolves as well on both flanks, plus double Horsemasters on both flanks as well. Gotta challenge the skirmishing game of the Empire. Can't let them take it. Code Voider. The ROR Frost Dragon, who does have Guardian, gives that 15% Fizz Res to any nearby Lords or Heroes, which is pretty nice. Also has the Chilling Aura as it being a Frost Dragon, and you also have a familiar Belfiend of Shadows with Melkoth's and Enfeebling Foe. For the Empire side, we do have another nameless character in the history of Warhammer with Hunter Snare and Amber Bow. For the caster, a Bright Wizard with Burning Head. Rest of the army, an infantry corps of state troops, no surprise there. Spearmen and swordsmen. Hawkland long rifles, 3 of them, with more spearmen and halberds as well. Knights of the Blazing Sun on both flanks, pretty sweet. Do love me some Knights of the Blazing Sun, and we also have triple Pistoliers as they're pretty solid at skirmishing with other skirmish cav. I don't know where the Code Voider is going. Where the heck is it going? Is it just trying to stay out of the line of sight of the Huckling long rifles, I suppose? Definitely think it's worth going around rather than staying that far back, however, because that's keeping a lot of value back there. The Huckling long rifles are getting their shots into the spearmen, or rather into the Marauder Berserkers. A beautiful Seafang ripping through those spearmen. Oh my god, that is dirty. Yeah, Jesus, look at how much HP damage they took. They're gone. That front line collapses immediately. Really well played there by the Norskin side. Now the Berserkers are going to be able to push in and get on top of those long rifles. Wolfric is under fire. He probably needs to get into a fight here soon, so he can like stay out of the missile fire. We do have a net going down on Wolfric, is now going to give the Hawkland long rifles more time to shoot at him. But the issue is that one of them are now engaged in combat. The other 2 are free to shoot, however, but they are obstructed by the hill. Oh no, the dreaded hill. It was a nice net, but unfortunately nothing came of it because of that. I didn't notice one of these were Outriders, but the Outriders are being charged at by Marauders, and they definitely need to come around and start getting some shots in over here, as their shots are just being wasted. They have AP missiles for a reason, and they'd be wasted on generic Marauders. They need to be shooting at the Frostworm, they need to be shooting at Wolfric, the Skirmish Cav, anything, but not Marauders. Frost Dragon does end up jumping down here and getting up with the long rifles. Beautiful work, and that's exactly what it wants to be doing. It also has that, again, chilling aura, so it's going to slow things down, get more time to catch on to things. And we also get that rear charge from the Norskin Ice Wolves, and the Empire backline has been compromised and shut down. I definitely think this is probably going to be spelling doom here for the Empire already. Another Seafang ripping through those Empire state troops, especially the halberds. That is beautiful, beautiful Seafang. Where's Wolfric at, by the way? Over here? What's his value looking at so far with the Seafang? 782? Not too bad. Pretty good. Outriders do get a shot in there on the Berserkers, but they do have some physical resistance at the very least of 20%. So, yeah, starting to shoot at the Frost Dragon is the best bet. Gotta get up and close, however, as they kind of just suck at long. They're at their max range and just miss all their shots. Yeah, definitely think it's going to be going to the Ooh, nice breath attack there. That was a beautiful breath attack there on these spearmen. Absolutely annihilating 2 of those units. And the berserkers up to 170 kills. Yeah, again, this is one of the few occasions where you want to bring berserkers because they just like they make mincemeat of the state troopers. Rush Dragon does tear out the Outriders, and that'll be going to Norska. Well played to both players. 922 on Wolfric. Everything else did fine. 819 there on these berserkers. 945 and 364. Horse Masters did solid. 1222 on the Norskan Ice Wolves, and Cold Voider got about 800 value. Everything else unsubstantial. Definitely better to go with more Empire Knights. Though I love the Knights of the Blazing Sun, they're very cool. And those flaming attacks to deal with any skin wolves, I do like to pick. But I definitely think 3 long rifles is too much. Also, don't even bring the Outriders. I'd probably just bring another Pistolier. But otherwise, yeah, not bad. Solid match. Definitely didn't see any burning heads though. Wonder if I missed them. I presume I did. Let's see. You can see another Norskan game. See, Norskan goes up against the Dwarves. We already saw Norska versus the Dwarves earlier, and as you can imagine, as you can remember, it went pretty terribly. Let's see if it happens this time as well. We have a feral mammoth. Okay, the Norskan player is just trolling. The 2 base mammoths, though, the mount for the Chieftain and the War Shrine were bad enough as it is, but the Feral Mammoth is objectively the worst thing going to the monster in the game. But, you know, fun. Fun to try to make it work, I suppose. Alright. So it is actually going to be double mammoth once again. I don't know why people keep bringing double mammoth, but I'm all for it. Wolfric won't shut up again. He's on his mammoth. He just have Sea Fang. And the rest of the army is going to be Marauders with great weapons. Or some Marauders champions with great weapons. And some regular Marauders with great weapons as well. Brave to put the champions in the middle where all the guns typically shoot at. Mistwalkers, the familiar ROR, they do have armor sundering, magical attacks, and they do have From That Mist. Aside from that, I don't actually know what the difference is between them and the regular familiars. Just better stats, I'm guessing. Yeah, it seems like it. Because the regular one has armor sundering as well, so. Oh, I know. Is it stock? Yeah, it's stock. Yeah, we also have Feral Mammoth, which is terrible, and it's just going to be rampage as soon as they get shot by gyrocopters. I feel for it. But Belagar, Ironhammer, or Unnamed Dwarven Lord, does have Mighty Oathstone and Rally, giving things expert charge defense, which is already tough as it is, charging the dwarves. Expert charge defense is just going to make things worse. Miners with blasting charges and a whole bunch of Dwarven warriors for the front line, and more in the back line, plus Quarrelers and Bolt Throwers for the artillery pieces, plus Runesmith, who does have Rune of Slowness, and a Master Engineer for entrenchment and that Flash Bomb. So I do like the Belagar pick. Do love that I'm not seeing double Slayer hero again, but this is gonna be pretty dirty. Double Bolt Throwers, it's pretty heinous. Double Bolt Throwers plus double Steam Gyros, that's extremely heinous. We're gonna speed things up a little bit as we see the bombs go down on the Marauders. Luckily, they haven't noticed that these are champions with great weapons, so they bomb the regular Marauders instead. And maybe I don't know if they think maybe they're the regular Marauders because they don't have an icon difference, which is great. But I think they're starting to catch up now and realize that that those are champions. Could bomb them. Mirror Warriors are taking quite a bit of damage from the steam guns, unfortunately. Wolfric is also taking quite a bit of damage from both the Quarrelers, the Bolt Throwers, and from the Brimstone guns. But I don't think they noticed. Yeah, they did not notice that those are the champions. So no bombs for them. Yeah, as you can see, the Feral Mammoth does end up getting rampaged, and she's going to get beat down by Belagar most likely. Though the Dwarven player is pulling back the miners for some reason, instead of just turning around and throwing their blasting charges at the champions, which I think is a big mistake. Searing Doom coming down on the Dwarf Warriors. Wolfric taking a tremendous amounts of damage. Luckily, these Brimstone's guns are kind of like obscuring each other, but it's not going to save them. These Bolt Throwers are doing so much freaking damage. This is insane. Like, look at this. Jeez. And then, of course, the... what is it called? Burnt, providing a -8 leadership. So, he's taking so much damage, and not only that, the leadership penalties as well. It's pretty rough. The Mirror Warriors getting taken apart by the Bolt Throwers as well. Actually, this one's shooting at the Famir Warriors. So it's just the Quarrelers which are shooting at the Famir, which are doing so much damage. Searing Doom hitting those Quarrelers, doing a little bit of okay damage. These Marauders do eventually get on top of them, though, finally. And the Feral Mammoth is no longer routing, or rather rampaging. So it can start making its way over and help out with the infantry engagements. Oof. He rear volley there from the Brimstone guns is going to rout those Marauders very quickly. Famir are still standing up, however, and will push past the Dwarf Warriors and try to get on top of the Quarrelers, hopefully. But the Bolt Throwers are now shooting at them. Feral Mammoth does break through that back line. It's possibly when we get on top of the Bolt Throwers, but the issue with the Bolt Throwers is that they're so hard to actually kill the crew. Majority of the time, they just target the actual models themselves, which is not great because of how many models there are and how hard it is to kill those models. But Marauder Champions does get finally on top of the crew of the Bolt Throwers, and it's probably going to shut them down, hopefully. The Searing Doom going on top of those Dwarven Warriors. Also, the Gyrocopters continuing to shoot in at the Feral Mammoth. Probably going to round sometime here soon as they're on a -1 leadership. And yep, there we go. Did we see a Sea Fang yet? We did. I must have missed it. Okay. Because a Sea Fang would be pretty good against the, I think, the Bolt Thrower crew, most likely. Or could have been good against the Quarrelers. But yeah, the Brimstone guns continue to shoot at Wolfric, knowing that their burnt leadership debuff is pretty bad for him. Searing Doom being casted on the Gyrocopters. Unfortunately, it does a little damage, but not too bad. Not too much. Marauder Champions continuing to push in, and they're surprisingly doing some solid work because the Dwarven player didn't notice them until they're too late. But they do if they need to get that charge in on the miners before they get their second blasting charge off. Their armor is mitigating some of it, but not enough of it. There we go. Luckily, it's not a full volley, however. Both throwers continuing to fire in as they have it on guard mode and having to continuously fire at the Miststalkers. But in the meantime, the Marauders' great weapons are chopping the crew to pieces. Wolfric is hanging on as best as he can. He only has 1400 HP left. Getting hit by another volley of those Brimstone guns. And he's down to -14 leadership, and he's going to rout. They don't have great AP values on the Brimstone guns. I think they do pretty pitiful damage in general. But the burnt leadership debuff is really, really nice. One of these does end up running out of ammunition, however, and the other one has 4 left. So overall, this is kind of good for the Norskin side, as the Runesmith does end up routing off, and one of those Brimstone guns is out of ammunition. How are the Steam guns doing? Steam guns have quite a bit of ammunition still left, 11 and 10, so a lot of work they could still be doing, as they're picking up a lot of value from shooting at these champions, which is quite unfortunate. Searing Doom coming in here and hitting these Dwarf Warriors. Pretty nice Searing Doom there. Marauders are going to be able to finish off these Dwarf Warriors. And the champions continue to try chasing off the Runesmith and finish them off. These great weapons should come back to the main engagement. Belagar has routed as well. I'm not sure from what. Probably from the champions. That's really nice. Wonder what kind of value they picked up. 1259 just from fighting Belagar and other dwarf infantry units. Pretty nice. I'm surprised the Pro Mammoth is still up and about, but it does finally end up rampaging or routing once again as it's getting hit by those brimstone guns. Champions being charged by the gyrocopters. Luckily, the champion should most likely win that. And looks like army losses are kicking in for the dwarves, and the Norskins take the win. This is the Norskin revenge for the humiliating Dawi loss that they took before. They've come back twice as strong with the same mammoths, and this is actually probably why Gormbrindle stepped in to take place, because Belagar unfortunately had a shameful display. So Belagar had to, Gormbrindle had to kick in there as the Batman hero that he is and save the Dawi from extinction. Value-wise, though, we're looking at 813, 70. What was that? 672 on the Marauder Warrior weapons. Nice. 686 as well. The Marauder champions did beautiful. It was so lucky that the Dwarven player didn't realize those were champions early on, because they could have bombed them and done some serious work into them with the gyrocopters. 650, 592. Belagar, a fun pick. Same with the Master Engineer, but yeah, bolt throwers. Typically, you want to end up bring one of them. Two of them is pretty heinous. I mean, they do a lot of damage, but it's a lot to protect. And yeah, they're pretty solid though. 1302 on one of them, 1134 on these gyrocopters, and 897. Brimstone guns picked up decent value. Not a lot of damage value, but more so like game value in terms of routing off Wolfric and the Mammoth. Alright, I'm probably gonna do like one or two more depending on how long the games are. 2 Chaos Dwarfs against Bretonia. Alright, for the Chaos Dwarves, you have another Sorcerer Prophet on foot, or no name, excuse me. Beta Buna and Spirit Leech plus Chalice of Blood and Darkness. They heal up off of the casting of the enemy lord. For the rest of the army, Chaos Dwarf Warriors and Laborers will be making up the infantry. We have Infernal Guard Fireglaves. 2 of them, I think, unless I'm missing another one. Yeah, it's just the 2 of them, plus the Blunderbusses, one of them being the Grinding Guard once again. They've shown their face many times this game, or this tournament. Let's see how good they can do this time. A Skullcracker as well will be making their showing here. And it does have that bonus for the infantry, but magic damage, perfect vigor, hellbound as well. So theoretically, it should do some solid work in Bretonia. The issue is if they bring any Grow Knights, etc., then it could be pretty dirty for them. But just gotta watch out. For the Bretonian side, we do have a Fey Enchantress on Pony with Regrowth and Earthblood. Plus, of course, her Miss of the Lady Mortis Engine. For the rest of the army, however, it's going to be Peasant Mobs and Spearmen at Arms with Peasant Bowmen and double Grail Knight and a single unit of Royal Hippogriff Knights, plus Henry the Massif and the Paladin on foot on horseback as well. Let's get right to it. Speed things up a little bit as we start making our way over to the point. Blunderbuss is getting some nasty shots into those peasants, and those peasants are being sacrificed like the worthless meat bags that they are. Same with these fireglaves. Fireglaves shooting into the peasant bowmen, and some solid work into them. Firecracker chasing after the Fey Enchantress, which I don't think is the right choice, but they're making that choice. But definitely worth probably going after the peasant bowmen instead. Row Knights noticing are probably going to turn around and start chasing after it. Fireglaves should start shooting at the Row Hippogriff Knights, which is exactly what they're doing. And those Hippogriff Knights, if they're not careful, oh my god, they're taking so much damage. They got to really be careful here. Especially if the Granite Guard turns around and starts shooting too. Yep. Oh no, please don't tell me. Oh no. Oh no. That's terrible. Oh. I've seen this once before and it was not beautiful. Oh no. There goes a model and they're routed off. Yikes. I feel for the Bretonnian player. I really feel for them. Skullcracker running through the back line of the peasant bowmen. The Grove Knights are trying to stop it, but it just has so much mass that it's making it very, very difficult. That's exactly what the Hippogriff Knights were for, however, just shut down the Skullcracker, but unfortunately it's not doing that work. Paladin, I don't know what they got routed off by, but the Paladin could also be helping out with the Skullcracker as well. Fate of Buna going down, hitting those Grove Knights, doing some solid work. They do have some spell, no, they have the word save a little bit, but they're taking so much damage from that Fate of Buna. Granite Guard shooting in. Oh, those Grove Knights. Oh, Last Samurai to hell. Ay, ay, ay. Jesus, the lady can't save them from that. They're just being wiped off the field like dirt. Oh my. Navi. This is just filthy. Those poor, poor Grove Knights. Gee, I mean, I love to see Bretonnians, Grove Knights die. Because I'm so sick of seeing them in land battle games. But my god, that is just heinous. That is uncalled for. These Hippogriff Knights coming back, but they seriously need some healing if they want to do anything. And they definitely don't want to go over the blunderbusses and fireglaves again. But nope, they're going for it. They are going for it. They're going on the fireglaves, who do have blunderbusses large. So they're pretty good at defending themselves, and they are in guard mode. So they're shooting at the Hippogriff Knights in melee, and then they get massacred once again by the freaking... Oh, no! Yeah. I'm just going to spare the Bretonnian player the rest of this. Okay, there we go. Oh, man. So unfortunate for Buffo. Yeah, I mean, for Deep Dark. It's just, wow. I mean, you can just tell from the value there. Just, that was so heinous. Oh. So unfair. Those poor guys. Those poor Hippogriffs and Grove Knights. They did not know what was going to hit them. Alright, I should probably win my last one. The Dwarf player versus Tzeentch. As I just want to see if Tzeentch can stack up better against the Dwarfs this time than others have. Alright. So we do have a full vanguard of miners with blasting charges, quarrelers, and rangers. Or actually just rangers. For the... yeah, because rangers are the ones who have vanguard. From the dwarven side. And we have a whole bunch of silver chevroned dwarf warriors. Which is interesting. And longbeards. Okay, so Yacht Park definitely knows how to have a good time. This is the second time I've seen their builds. And they seem like they just like to have fun with dwarf builds. So I like it. Runesmith as well, just gonna have Rune of Slowness, and he's me on foot. I also have a Thane with just Rune of Dismay, so just going for the speed debuff stacks. We also have Iron Drakes, hell yeah, and a Master Engineer with Smoke Bomb. I love it. but I fear for them. Zinchi inside, we do have Village, the Chad Village. I love Village, he's so cool. I just wish they'd give him Arctic Conduit or something to give him some Winds of Magic generation. Infernal Gateway will be the only thing he has. For the rest of the army, it's going to be Marauders with Flamers, triple Flamer. It's going to be a very cheesy build from the Zinchi side with the Chaos Furies and Chaos Chariots, which is pretty interesting. Let's see how those guys do. Plus, oh yeah, I didn't even notice that, guys. The Ultar's Raiders, Ranger, Great Weapon, ROR. You do have that marked by Ulthar. It's giving minus 20% missile resist, missile block chance, and armor. But yeah, we have more Flamers in the back line, more Chaos Furies, and a whole bunch of Centaurs Vanguard behind the Dwarven player. But Rangers are being charged at by the Chaos Furies, but we do have miners here to try to screen them out. Issues that the Chaos Furies are pushing past them, getting on top of the Rangers. They're taking quite a bit of damage. Flamers are doing tremendous damage to the miners. This one taking a lot up down to half HP already and not be able to get off any of their blasting charges. These players kind of just picking apart the Dwarven army as the Rangers take quite a bit of damage from those Furies. I'm not liking the Dwarven players' chances here. They have a very slow Vanguard build with nothing to protect their infantry or range pieces, so it's not looking great here. As we're gonna get the Centaur charges in. Oh, those dwarves get punted like they're children. Oh my god! And now the flames coming in, and then the oh no, they get burnt to hell, and then they get ransacked by the Centaurs, and then they get another charge in from the Centis. Oh man, yeah, this poor dwarven player is being picked apart. I think you guys are going to know where this is going. Chaos Chariots running in. They're going to get a charge there on the Rangers. They get hit with a Rune of Slowness or something. Yeah, and then possibly a Smoke Bomb. I'm not sure, but it does get caught out. Probably finished off here, but that's not even like the important piece here. This is looking pretty drastic over the Dwarven side. We do have a Sieging Gateway coming in here, possibly hitting all three of these units, which could be pretty drastic. Oh no, that's gonna hurt. They do have spell resistance to mitigate some of this damage, but that's still a very powerful spell hitting all of those units. The village, however, is getting beat down by the Thane, so at least there's that for the Dwarven side. Much as I like Village, he's a decent fighter. He's not a great fighter. And he's taking quite a bit of damage from that Thane there. Thane is giving him a whooping. Here comes a Runesmith as well. 2v1. Not fair. Not fair. I guess to be fair, Village does have his brother intertwined with them as well. So 2v2. That's fair. Fair game. You have the Marauders get a surround there on the Chaos Furies to try to save the Rangers, but actually, excuse me, Marauders get a surround there on the Rangers to try to finish them off with the help of the Chaos Furies, and they'll be routing here soon. Flamers get a nice volley there on the Miners, and yeah, just constantly being picked apart little by little, piece by piece, and it's looking really bad for the Dwarven side, as there's really nothing to contest the Flamers, and that'll be going to the Zinchian side. I do feel for Yacht Park because they went for a more fun build, more infantry heavy type build, and it just was nothing but pain for them. I can't imagine anything here got much value. Yeah. Flamers probably did excellent work. 764. Surprisingly, not that bad actually. Nothing to write home about. Chaos Furies are pretty instrumental in that whole engagement. 1132 on Village. Alright guys, I am going to probably end it there as I mean, I know I only have like 3 more games to go through, but I have things I have to do, unfortunately. And obviously I'm still sick, so would like to get some rest. But it was wonderful casting you guys these games. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you for playing once again. Thanks for showing up and bringing your fun builds. Hope to see you guys next weekend. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.